Hey everybody, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Giant Blue Podcast. I am your host, Jack. With me, as always, what are you looking at me? Your co-host, Sean Guy and Felix Vega, and back by popular demand, special guest, Iona Francis.
Hello, hello.
Popular demand.
Yeah, we are so happy.
The number of call-ins we've had and fan mail.
How cool My girlfriend said, what did she say? She was like, Iona girl seems like a swell gal or something. She said something. She was just like, everyone was well impressed. Yeah. So we're happy to have you back for the penultimate episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we'll do this one.
Penultimate?
The second to last.
Oh, is that what penultimate means?
I think so.
I have no clue.
Does it?
Yes.
Well, because I always thought it was like the peak. So like after this, we're just going to
No, the peak is ultimate. So this is penultimate.
Oh, you're right.
Like almost there.
Why pen? Yeah, it doesn't
So
matter.
next, yeah.
Because pens are almost like as good as it
Oh,
gets.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Pen ultimate and then pencil ultimate. Oh.
Good job, mate.
Next week we'll do whenever we'll do episode 13, which will be the finale.
The Baker's Dozen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then that'll round out the podcast season 1 for 2017.
I got to do something special for that then.
All right, guys. So
13
Right.
podcasts, why?
I'm going to fact check it.
Googled
You're
it.
right. Last but one in a series of things. Second last. You're right.
I already
you're right.
confirmed it.
Sorry, just doing housekeeping.
That is so rude. I don't ask
got
you
the
to
we got the
fact check
internet.
your camera stuff.
If only you did. We've already had a couple of fuck ups this morning.
I say it with confidence, and then when you go, is it that? And then I immediately lose all confidence, and I like doubt everything. Yeah, like I'm like,
You're not as good as you thought.
Exactly. It's a question everything. Yeah. So yeah, we had a bit of a hiatus, I thought. Like, we haven't done one since, I think, the 6th of November. So that's like over a month, which is like the longest time we've gone without doing
6
one for
weeks.
a while. I was sick, and I was in Sydney, and then I had to play, and you were in Melbourne, and everyone's got stuff going on.
Yeah, that's right.
You're
It's
always
hard to get-
working.
In the last couple of weeks, I noticed it's
graduation.
hard to get
Yeah.
big groups of people together during this time of the year. So
Yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
hard.
it's understandable.
I feel like I'm out like
Still
6
love you
nights a
guys.
week at just like Christmas parties and watching movies.
So for this one, I think we'll have a bit more of a free form. We might run long just because we've got like tons to talk about because so much has happened since
the 6 weeks.
our initial recording
Yeah.
date and then when we postponed to the new date. So yeah, first off, does anyone have any housekeeping? You had some, did you?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
All right. then.
We a couple of times, and my housekeeping wasn't that interesting, so let's just skip it.
Well, you did mention
That was
movies
a practice.
you mentioned movies that make you cry. You said the Wonder trailer. Like
The Wonder trailer. Every time
Yeah.
I watch it, I cry. It's like a minute and a half.
Yeah, the first
And
time
the
I
trailer.
watched it,
I know how bad it is.
Yeah.
I'm like watching it. I'm like emotionally invested in like that, and then the kid's like sad, and then he gets the friends. Oh my god! And then the actual movie that I go to the cinema to watch starts, and I'm like, oh yeah, so I forget about the trailer.
Well, it's so funny because I don't think I've ever cried in a trailer. I've definitely gotten goosebumps, all the time, from trailers and stuff like that. And I thought about that because next week we're going to do award nominations, and so we're going to have best movie, best TV show, best game. And I thought if there was any other categories, and I thought, best trailer perhaps.
That would be interesting.
Because Jumanji for best trailer is the best trailer.
I was like, shit. Are we supposed to like that trailer?
I was like, yeah, didn't know.
I was really like, Jack.
Well, it's funny because that movie, everyone was shitting on that movie it's a video game now, it's stupid. I'm like, did you just want the board game again? I'm happy that they sort of mixed it up.
Fuck people.
I think it looks fun.
I reckon they could have just made up a new film.
All of
They
it.
couldn't just all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I haven't seen an original film in probably like 14 years.
What's what
Oh,
everyone...
I'm just joking. I watched The Room. That was original.
Well, Baby Driver, that came out as well. Baby Driver, yeah.
And there's a heaps of original.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Because you had that, going back to because we had that topic forever ago about what movies make you cry. We also had the guilty pleasure movies, or whatever, where it's and I thought of one the other day, I think it was on Netflix, somehow I saw it. Did you ever see Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman?
Wasn't it Ryan Reynolds?
No, Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Van Helsing. I think you said Van...
Wilder.
Van Wilder.
no, Van Helsing, the
Van
vampire.
Helsing. Because he plays...
That movie's probably terrible, I really like it. And even an extension of that, did you watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
I've seen both of those.
Again, that movie's probably awful, but I remember loving it so much.
It's
still
like
enjoy it,
the
yeah.
classic novels
Yeah.
Avengers, which I really
Yeah,
loved because
yes.
it was like Mina Harker and Jekyll and Hyde and Captain Ahab, I think. I remember loving it, but also being it's not a good film.
Sorry, if I'm looking at my phone, it's because I put notes on my phone. I should have written them down.
I'm looking at a computer it's for the same reason.
Yeah.
No one judges you when you're looking at a computer, but they do when you're looking at a phone.
We're just not that interesting. He's zoned out of his own podcast.
I'm just having my own.
You're the host, Jack.
Well,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so once we had from your podcast, Iona, that you were back on, because we had the topic that you said, which was Australian Prime Ministers, and I got some actors here that I can't believe we didn't mention. So Margot Robbie, one.
I don't know.
Look, actors
I think
names
we
are
all
so
didn't mention it for a reason.
You know who Margot Robbie is?
She'd be too distracting.
Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad.
Oh, right. Oh, she's Australian.
Yeah, she's yeah. Tony Collette, Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Kylie Minogue gets totally.
Mm.
She's
Well, no,
an entertainer.
we did celebrities.
We did,
Remember,
right.
Yeah, but
winner
we-
was
We also
the
included
dude
like
from the
Tom
TV show.
Sanson
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
Yeah, he was the speaker.
But yeah, he's not.
Yeah, well, him and Shenandy as well. They're not like actors.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
Well,
Richard
yeah.
Roxburgh, Eric Bana, but also like because you said Heath Ledger is like a posthumous. Is that how you say it?
Posthumous, yeah.
Posthumous, yeah. Like if like a hypothetical one if he hadn't passed away, unfortunately. I had one, Steve Irwin.
Prime Minister.
All his policies would be for climate change, which is all we need. You know, he'd be all about saving dead animals.
Yeah.
There was an article I was reading.
He'd be like, look how friendly this animal is. It's so friendly saving.
You
Yeah.
bring it into the
Amazing.
parliament.
It'd be the greatest thing. Yeah, like all those other
to hold
it's like when liberals like bring in like the lumps of coal, whatever. Like we need this for our like economy. See, everyone would bring in like bring in the crocodile. That's a terrible impression.
They're a national treasure.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then the speakers sitting up there like, quiet please.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Yeah.
more crocodiles. That's the House of
Stop
Parliament.
with
Mr.
the wild
Irwin.
animals in Parliament, please.
Mr.
Mr. Irwin,
Irwin,
if you bring in one more animal, I swear to God. Yeah.
we've talked about this. Mr. Irwin, see me after class.
God bless you. All right. All right. So moving on to something funny. I have a note here. Am I the only one who checks what shirt they wear on the podcast?
I've never
like
checked.
week to week?
but
I've never worn the
tried
same shirt
to
because
wear
I
the
watched
same
them. I like put on a shirt and I'm like, wait, have I worn this? And I quickly check and I'm like,
You go
I was
through
like,
every
fuck.
single one again.
Well, I have more than 12. Like,
I don't have a
I
jacket.
don't know that I do.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I'm buying a new shirt each week.
I'm buying a new shirt every week. I bought this one the other week. Yeah.
That's why he's always late. He's running through.
I'm doing, I like it's like the 80s montage. I come out like this, and then like someone's like, "Nah, Jack, you wore that on episode 12." I'm like, "Oh, episode 7." I'm like, "Damn, I have to go back in."
It's why we
and
all
check.
need our own
Yeah.
like secretary, just like pick out costumes, do like hair.
I would love that. Yeah. We also need like I don't know, like the convention center industrial air conditioning, just
Yeah.
absolute zero freezing, so we can just rug up.
Oh, that would be sick. Right in the center of a massive
Auditorium.
Massive
There's so much echo. Like, hello.
That would be
We could
so
fill the
bad.
seats with all our fans.
Oh, fuck, boys.
So another point.
Hold up.
Okay.
Is it stopped?
Is it not doing it again?
Alright.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
All right. So sorry, guys. We've had some bit of technical difficulties. Some of the audio might be a bit off. We'll see how it turns out. Another just point I had was because when you were on Iona, you had that great topic of the Netflix shows that we ranked.
Right,
And I've just
yeah.
got some here that we didn't mention, which I thought was very surprising.
there's so
Oh, there
many,
is so
though.
many because I think you did like the most popular or something.
Yeah, I kind of based off what I've watched and what I really like and what's the most popular.
What'd you find?
Dear White People. Has anyone
I
seen
watched the
that?
first episode. and
Very
I was-
recently
seen
came
it.
out though.
Yeah.
It looked like intentionally like trying to start something. Like it's called Dear White People. I mean,
Yeah.
even the name's like.
You have to watch it
Well,
even
hang
to
on,
realize that.
yeah. Girl Boss. Did anyone watch that show?
No, I was someone told me it was really bad, but yeah, I just haven't.
Who's the
gone
main
around
character
to
in
it.
that one?
It's based off a true story.
Not
It's the
Dishemal, is
chick
it?
from Tomorrowland, I think. I don't know her name though.
It's not Zoe Deschanel, I
No,
don't think.
it's not Zoe Deschanel. Oh, well, she might be in it, but she's not the main chick.
Oh, I thought she was
I don't know. I've only seen the trailer.
Love. Has anyone seen that? That's a Judd Apatow one. I actually don't mind it. It has
That's a film.
No, it's a show. I've
Is
seen
it?
Yeah. It's Britta. It stars Britta and
Yeah,
then
no.
some other guy. I don't know
Britta
his
from
name.
Community.
Britta from
Yeah.
Community.
It's all different.
I can't remember her.
No,
her
I'll
name.
never get it.
Yeah.
Just start with an A.
Here's Brittany
No.
something. Oh God.
I can't
Doesn't
remember.
matter.
Maybe
Doesn't
it's
matter.
not.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, that show, it's not bad. It's not like amazing, but that's pretty good. And they got a second season. Friends from College. That's meant to be really good. That has Robin from How I Met Your Mother and Keegan-Michael Key, I want to
Yes,
say.
yeah, it does.
No, I didn't
I've
like
seen
it.
a couple
You
that
didn't like it?
I
didn't-
watched maybe 3 episodes and
I got about
kind
4 or
of a bit
5
bored.
deep. Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
just-
really go
it's-
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
think
get much out of it.
I think it's just one of those you just binge it and then you're just like, oh, that was alright.
There's so many shows, and I've like, if
Oh,
we,
absolutely.
yeah,
You gotta prioritize.
I'm just not watching TV really at
Yeah.
the moment.
Get your act together,
Ozark
Sean.
with Jason Bateman.
Is that a movie?
Meant to be really
I
good.
heard
No,
that
it's
was
a
really
show.
good. It's
meant to be really
like
good.
Wait,
a
what
like a
is it?
Breaking Bad
Ozark
type thing.
with Jason Bateman.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one yet.
They look just too weird for me to.
I love Jason
prioritize it.
Bateman. I
do
like
like him
want to
too.
watch it.
Yeah, of course.
The cast-
and it doesn't seem like something he would fit into.
Yeah,
No,
it's like
it's-
a more sort of.
But we
The
gotta stop
trailer
judging
makes it
things.
look kind of supernatural. I don't know. Castlevania, the anime, is it?
yeah.
The cartoon. Anyone seen that? No. Okay.
No.
Okay, here's one that I'm surprised didn't get mentioned at all, which is very popular. Riverdale.
I think we deliberately didn't mention it because
I've
I
not
think
seen
it's
it, but
just
I know people like it. Yeah, well, from the look, it reminded me of what my problem was with 13 Reasons Why, where it's like adults writing how they think kids should
Yeah,
talk.
that's
sort of thing. Like,
That
they're also-
is where I was kind of. It's something you can watch the first season and be like, yeah, it was good. There was a good like twist at the end, but that's not how teenagers are,
Yeah.
and that's not how teenagers.
it was like a
talk.
Which is
teeny
why-
bopper version of what's that classic show with like the I can't remember what it's called now.
Friday Night
Friends?
Lights?
No.
I don't know why I
If I
thought
think of
that.
it, I'll let you know. Twin Peaks. It's like teen version of Twin Peaks.
Is it like kind of supernatural? And stuff?
No. Twin Peaks from memory. Isn't that the one where they like had like somebody dies like in the first episode, and then they have like 13 episodes, or whatever. Everyone's trying to work it out. It's like the ultimate sort of like small town crime thing. And
I thought it was. Yeah, okay. I thought there was like some weird stuff in it though, but maybe it's just like weird people in
I
the
don't know.
town.
Maybe I've got the wrong
I've
show.
not seen it. Godless, which is like this all-female kind of western. which
Haven't
is kinda
even
cool.
heard of that.
No,
Yeah, I think
haven't heard
that's
of
quite
that.
new. The Good Place, which
Yes.
is not what I thought at all. Like the picture looks like
I
Kristen Bell
completely
in
forgot to mention that one.
Ted Danson, and then I watch it and she's like dies and goes to heaven, and she's like, I shouldn't be here. I'm a bad person.
It
I was
is-
like, what is this? This is insane.
It is such a good show.
I've heard
I
it's
watched
yeah.
the first season, and there's a twist at the end, and oh my god!
Can I say anything about this? Do you guys? Can we
I've
do
not seen it.
spoilers?
Yeah,
Well, no,
I
I want to
reckon-
watch it. So.
Oh, you
Yeah.
haven't seen it? Okay.
No, I've not touched it.
I probably won't watch it, but
I was just
I'd
so
watch it.
It's good.
I
It's
just-
a recommend. I've watched it all. Season
Yeah.
2 kind of, it's still coming out. The last episode
Okay.
comes out in next year,
Hmm.
but it's not as good as the first season. But you sit there and you kind of think, oh, where is it going to end? That's why I kept watching it though. It's good.
I'm keen. Yeah.
They do that on purpose. Keep you coming back.
It was one of those things where somebody told me there was a twist at the end. So I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, is this the twist? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, so I never watched episode 2.
Stop ruining shit for yourself, man.
No.
Well,
like
that
one
wasn't
of the-
my fault because they told me there was a twist and I guessed it.
Sorry.
I hate when people say there's a
almost
twist,
as
and I'm
bad.
expecting a
Yeah,
twist.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's almost as
Like,
bad.
like somebody
but not
came
even.
up to me once and they were like, oh, I need movies with like great twists and great suspense or something. And so people were giving them a list of all these movies and then they went and watched them and they're like, oh, there was no good twist. I saw that coming from like the first 20 minutes. It's like, you just asked for a list of movies with twists in them. Like,
I just
how
wanna
are you
formally
expected to
apologise
surprise
for
Hold on
yourself?
to the fuck, I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I don't know.
You would have commented on that as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway,
Just
not-
all
not-
the big ones.
It's nothing against her. But it was just the post itself. I was like, you can't expect to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's so dumb.
So somebody told me to watch The Good Place. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And they were like, you should. It's got the best twist ever. And I was like,
I'm sorry.
no, it wasn't you.
It's like,
That wasn't
no,
you.
but I've just said it was a
Done the
twist
same
with these two, so...
I'm
Yeah.
really bad at picking up on where a movie's going.
There's a
So I'll be
twist.
right.
There's a
See,
twist.
I'm
in
I'll
just
this.
be
saying,
blissfully
when someone
unaware.
goes, there's a twist, I sit there and I go, oh, sorry.
I sit there and I go, fuck you, Jack. Someone told me there was a
Yes.
twist, so I hit Jack.
There's a twist in this episode.
No, I just kind of, I don't know.
Bring in
but-
the animals.
No one will pick it.
I'm not doing anything to you this episode. I actually was going to bring something.
Is that the
and I
twist?
was
You
like,
actually
hey, I've got something here. And I knew you guys would like freak out. No, I was going to bring, I didn't buy it in the end. I forgot. But
You could come with an empty bag and say like, I'll break this out later. We'll be like, no, what's happening? I'm not ready.
What's in this box? Yeah.
I so hope in season 2 you do some posters for me or something. Like, I don't want to like
you have
force
to.
you to,
You
but they
you
were
can't
just
focus
so
on me
funny.
anymore.
That
I'm
was
gonna
amazing.
adopt a dog that looks like Sean or something like that. He's gonna have a little.
What does that even mean?
Who knows? It's just where my brain goes. No. Okay, we have him at JB Hi-Fi. It's like, I don't know if you guys will like this or hate it. It's like the most 80s thing I've ever seen, or 90s, I guess. It's like they've re-released these movies, certain movies from the 80s, like Jurassic World, Stand By Me. They've released them. The boxes are VHSs, like video.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's like it's big and
good.
bulky, and it bugs me because it doesn't fit on the damn shelf next to all the other DVDs. But it's a
wow.
Blu-ray, but it's in this VHS box. I wish I bought it and brought it because it's so
you
funny
should.
because you turn it around and it's the cover. It's like a low-res image, like it's made intentionally shitty, like.
You have to
It's
put in
so
quite a bit
bizarre.
of effort to make something look
Yeah.
bad. But
Exactly.
The way that it
We have
used to
all
look
this
bad.
technology. We're making things look worse.
Yeah.
Like
Nostalgia's gone too far.
it is. It's almost like this girl and this guy. They were just like, she was like, that makes me mad, and I don't quite know why. I'm like, right? It's a weird kind of like we've come so far, and yet we're like, I don't know. Yeah, it's
But I was at
strange.
JB the other day and I saw you guys have record players now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want one so badly. Then I saw the price. I was like, I can live without it. and the records themselves are like $80 to $100. It's like, what?
It'd be like if like a solar power plant like just released like toxic fumes. Like it looked like, you know what I mean? It's this clean
Had a
energy
big cooling
plant,
tower.
but it's like they just like released smoke to make it nostalgic. Like remember coal, guys? You know what I mean? It's like no, we have clean energy. What are you doing?
Like electric trains like
That's-
going across the country and they got little smoke machines in the top like choo choo.
That's a fucking
They
good
have a guy
idea.
like shoveling coal into it.
That'll make the
for nostalgia.
That'll make
my
the transition
God.
so much easier for them.
It wouldn't even
That's
be a
genuinely
guy
good
doing it. It
idea.
would be all the guests on the train, all the passengers would be like, my turn, my turn. It's like, no, this is a shitty job. I don't want this job. It's like, no, I came on this train so I could shovel coal.
The 80s thing's gone too far. I said to you last night, there was a girl that I did the drama play with, and she was like, I think I should have been born in the 80s. And I was like, see, they've got you. They've hooked you. I was like, no, you don't, because I bet it's far more racist and sexist than all this 80s
also
research
remember
wants
it,
you to
yeah.
believe. You know what I mean? I feel like it's...
Watch
like,
movies that are actually from the 80s. That'll give you a better idea.
Yeah, it's like... All
Well,
well, like this, it's
yeah.
it's like a bit kind of like, ooh, that wouldn't fly nowadays kind of thing. It's that great quote that on that video essay I linked. It was like, it's the 80s of how we wish we remembered it, or how we wanted it to be.
How we wanted it to
how
be
we want it to
today.
be today. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we think it's this like fun thing, and it's like it probably wasn't that bad. Like a lot of child abductions in the 80s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or whatever, which is like what influenced Stephen King to write It and stuff like that. Yeah.
All of Stephen King's books are great.
I'll link that
like
video essay. That video essay is
It
tremendous.
is
Again
really
by
good.
Lindsay Ellis. Yeah.
Shout out.
Really good.
One we mentioned was Big Mouth on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which I've now seen the whole
okay.
season.
Yeah, I saw
Same
the
as
whole
well.
And I
season
like
in
it.
one
I know
night.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
It's good.
It's really good.
I know.
It's really good.
I'm surprised how many. I'm with you
It's
a little
genuinely
bit.
surprising. I thought it was going to be
Yeah.
shocking. Like the way that it
Yeah.
looks makes me think that it was going to be really bad.
I'm,
but
I'm
it
in the
hooked me
minority
in.
here because I only know 4
Have you-
people that have watched it.
Have
and,
you not watched it?
Well, I was recommended it by someone else, not you guys. And they talked about how great it was, like for puberty and for like teenagers. So I watched the first episode.
Was it
I was
Joel?
like, no, this wasn't Joel.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, does Joel like it?
yeah,
Everyone
really
likes it but me.
Actually, I'm a little bit
so wait.
I'm a
I-
little bit with you though. I'm surprised by how many people do like it and how much they like it. Like,
It's- I
think
can't
it's
get
very,
around
very
it.
good. But I don't know if it's like.
I'm surprised how
Yeah.
many people have even given it a crack because it doesn't look
Even
like
the
it's going to be that
aesthetics of
great.
it is kind of weird.
And it's,
But-
it's about puberty. No, I didn't know anyone would want to watch that, but yeah.
Yeah.
well, we're in
say
our
your
20s
point.
too.
Sorry.
We can like move on, surely.
No, we can't.
But anyway,
nostalgia, Sean.
I want nostalgia for our
Take
teens.
me back to puberty.
Give me those pimples back.
It was amazing the way I remember it.
Sorry,
Get your point out, 'cause then I'll get
I
my
watched
point
the
out.
first episode and I was like, oh, all right, it's fine. So I was like, I'll watch the second one, and then like as if the penises and the like, you know, jizzing on clothing wasn't enough. Then they got straight into like, you know, period jokes and stuff, and I was like, I'm
You
not.
guys are giggling.
I'm
aren't
not
you?
like a man.
I'm trying to take this seriously.
This isn't like a man thing where I'm like, oh, periods are gross. But I was just like, isn't this every teen show? Like, we've got premature ejaculation and now, you know, menstrual cycles and like,
But it's so
is there
condensed
anything
and
else?
it's like-
is there anything
think-
else?
I-
No.
no, I
Do I have to keep
It-
watching?
It's kind of... It gets smarter, I reckon, as it goes on. Like, toward the
Really?
last episode, I thought was really clever the way they put it together. It didn't have much of the
you guys
sex
agree with
jokes
that?
or anything like that.
I didn't really think about it that much. It was just something I put
Yeah.
on. It's like a really good like background show for me. Like,
So if you
as
don't
I'm
concentrate,
doing
it's all right.
See, okay.
No, it's kind of like I put it into the whole Adventure Time category. So there's so many episodes, and it's something you just put in the background as you're doing something. Like,
Something that you want to focus
no,
on.
it's like
It's like
It's like, I don't know, the best way is if you're doing homework and you kind of don't want to be doing homework.
I think
but
I
you're
would
sitting
rather
there.
do the homework.
well, okay.
All right, go.
So how far did you get?
Halfway through episode 2.
See, I don't think that's far enough. I think I got a bit into it because
But life's too short. That was already like 35 minutes of my life.
there's not that many episodes. Though.
Pretty shitty stuff.
You do.
And you get stuck
Yeah,
in
but I watch shitty movies and I watch it with friends at like the cinema. Like I go each week and I watch whatever's new and then that's like a discussion thing for me. I don't want to sit there for like 4 hours marathoning shows just so I can be like, hey, did you guys see Big Mouth? And you'll be like, yeah, Big Mouth was great. I'll be like, yeah, all right.
Here's
That
my,
was not really a good point.
I completely zoned out.
You convinced me.
Well, I got distracted halfway through my sentence because you guys were signaling about the sound thing, and I was like watching. I was
Sorry,
like, "Is it
yeah.
working?" And then I was like, "What's my mouth is still going?"
Okay. Well,
Big Mouth. Sure.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with Big Mouth is that yes, it is like a lot of that stuff. I think it just does it better. And because okay, I could do without some of the crudeness. I could do without the hormone monster being like that. Or whatever, that sort of thing. Like, I might bleep that. But like, he said, you saw me hesitate. I'm like, should I say it? I don't think we've ever said the C word on this podcast. But he says stuff like that.
You can't just say that, Jack.
It's a quote,
Jesus,
so it's
mate.
fine.
I don't think it is a quote, mate.
They do say the C word, and I was
Yeah.
taken aback by that.
They do?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And he says as well. That's also
Yeah, he definitely says.
Like-
I thought he said it to the dog or something.
He says it. He's. I was like, this is like overly crude, and I don't need this necessarily. I don't really need the crudeness. But what I think that show, where the strength lies in that show, which I don't even think they realize that's their strength, is just how perfectly they nail some of the coming of age stuff. On multiple times, that show made me think about things that I have not felt and thought about in a long time, and like. Just like simple stuff, even like the boy when he walks, like the girls in the bathroom, he's like, "Come help me," and the boy's like, "I've never been in the girls' bathroom." And he walks in, he's like, "Does it look?" He's like, "Oh, it's the same." And I was like, yes, I was like, yes. Like, you were just mystified as like in primary school, like what was the girls' bathroom, and then you were just like, "It's just a fucking bathroom, like, it's the same." Just stuff like that, I think they just absolutely nail. And yeah, it made me feel things. I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Holy shit!" But then there's stuff like the ladybird that's like. It's like, yeah, I rode here from the bus, motherfuckers, whatever. And I was like, there's like a talking ladybird, like, that serves no purpose to the plot. I'm like,
Ladybird?
I think it's a
Ladybug.
ladybird.
Oh, ladybug.
Here's another
A
one.
bug.
Can I ask
Okay.
you guys a
Sorry.
question
What's
about?
I wasn't sure.
I
Sorry,
watched.
can I just finish?
Oh, yeah,
point?
yeah,
It was
sorry.
basically- yeah, and I was like, that stuff I feel like is like kind of going into like Family Guy territory. I'm like, I don't need that stuff. But the coming of age stuff I think is really cool.
Family Guy.
And
They got a lot of good actors on there as
yeah,
well.
exactly. Yeah, and
surprising
Once the hormone monster, the boy one meets the female hormone monster, I think all that stuff's great. Like when it's like a divorce, when the breakup happens, it's like, he's like, well, my client, he gets to sit on the playground with his friends, and she's like, deal, whatever sort of thing. It's just funny. I don't know.
Weird. What about though the pillow baby thing? I
That
heard about
didn't
that
strike
one.
a chord with me, but when they
Oh.
Jay impregnates the baby,
so
the
funny.
Oh, that
Yeah.
I
That's so fucked
I don't
up.
even know.
Because he was like jizzing into it or something.
He
Yeah,
impregnates the pillow.
and then wait, you haven't seen the end of that episode, though, have you?
No, I just saw like a YouTube.
It turns out that the pillow.
There's
Oh, it's his brother's.
It's his brother's baby.
Yeah.
Pillow baby.
so stupid. See,
I
that-
still
that
love you
stuff-
though, Jay. It was just one time. That's more of an adult theme than a coming of age.
Yes.
thing.
I think that's like where I was kind of like, what am I watching? Yeah, that stuff's so stupid. All
Yeah,
right,
I thought that was excellent.
we'll move on then.
Yeah, I'll have to stay.
What
with
I
it
binged
because
as
it
well
sounds
now.
amazing.
Your best show for Netflix is Jerk Gently.
Yes,
and I
it
binged that
is.
show, and that show's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
I've watched it since.
You
I watched the
have?
entire
Yeah.
thing. It is incredible.
Thank
the way that it all
you.
ties. Have you seen it as
thank
well?
I haven't seen it yet, so don't.
You haven't
spoil
even
it.
touched it. I'm not going to spoil
No,
it.
I've seen the first episode.
It annoys me how little people have seen it, but
It's
every
'cause-
single
but you-
time I sit down with someone, I'm like, watch it. I will rewatch the whole season with someone
wow.
You
because
can't.
I love
you
it
can't
that
it's
much.
so hard to
I don't-
stay away from it. You have to keep watching it.
Sure enough, everyone that
Yeah.
I've put onto that show has like thoroughly enjoyed it, and they're going, "How come I've not
It's
seen this
such
before?"
Went
a-
under the
it's
radar
such a
too
mind-
much.
It's such a mindfuck. I don't think I'm as high on it as you two, but I did really like it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's.
That first episode,
the first
like-
episode's incredible.
it just opens up this whole world, and you're like, you're not being told
It's
anything
just
really.
so
Like, I just want to know
random.
what's happening here. Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
sees
yeah.
himself.
It's just the first episode.
like,
I haven't
in
ruined
the
anything.
elevator,
Yeah, I
It's
saw
like
the first
you
episode
sure enough, you just sit there and
ages
you're
ago,
like, what the
but
fuck?
I can't remember it really.
It's to be honest,
It's
I don't
good.
even remember it.
I will
Watch
get
it.
back to it because you guys have all talked it out.
You
but
should
I-
watch it.
Everyone needs to
I
see
trust
this
you. I don't
show.
trust you on
It's
Big Mouth,
fantastic.
but I trust
Yeah.
you on
You should
this.
trust
No.
us in Big Mouth too.
Great recommendation.
Yeah. Smashed it.
Stranger Things season 2 is also very good.
Yeah, that was great.
Except
That
for
was
one
very
episode.
good. Oh,
What episode?
what was the episode?
Episode 7. Have you not seen all the memes?
No, I
Like,
don't.
everyone hates episode 7.
Because
Why?
Bob,
Have you seen it?
yeah, because
Season 2?
of Bob.
No. See,
Don't
episode
ruin
7
anything.
is when. Have
I
you not
can't
seen
remember.
it? It's when
Have you
Eleven goes on her little quest by herself.
Oh,
It's like her solo episode.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
episode's fucking
yeah.
terrible.
No, I didn't
that
like
episode's
that.
absolutely
Because
terrible.
no, the
They
reason why they're doing
introduced
that
that
Serves
character
nothing to the
because
plot. It's
season
so
3
bad.
is coming out
You're
like
so right.
really soon, and that's
It's just
why.
so that she could come back as a badass or something. But
It
she
was
was
just-
didn't really.
I
It
don't
killed the
know.
momentum. It was all
You're
these
right, you're right.
no characters
Honestly,
you care
that's
about.
what they're
I
going to
thought
this
focus
episode.
on in season
If they
3.
hung out more in that world, then maybe it would have been alright. But the fact that they just tried to shove it in there as
It's
one
just
episode.
like it just
It was
didn't
weird.
fit
It was
with
weird.
it. And
Yeah.
then immediately, as soon as episode 8, it's like you're back with like Finn and Will and Mike and I forgot all
But
their
she's
names.
got like the.
And you're just like yeah, you're back into it.
And you just forget
Yeah.
about it as well. No, but it's
true.
honestly a dip into season 3 because season
Oh,
3 is coming out really soon, like far soon than I was like. They're trying to plan it for the end of January for it to be
Really?
released. It's
That's a quick
2019.
yeah. No,
Oh,
wait, no,
2018?
2018. I think it was.
I don't want to fact check.
I want to say I
Maybe-
doubt that.
Maybe
The sound will go.
that is me thinking. I don't know.
I feel
That-
like
that's
that's
a
wishful
bit
thinking.
I that's what
That's
I
like-
was
well,
thinking.
I know-
That's like a
Yeah.
4-month turnaround. That's like
Maybe
never
it is
happened in the
nice.
history of
That's that
TV.
too.
But it's only
Because
8
Game of
episodes. Or was it 8 episodes?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's quite
yeah.
short, isn't it?
No, there was 9 because there was
9.
also that show.
9
Doesn't
episodes.
matter. I don't think they've ever done that. Have they?
Game
mean,
of Thrones
what-
is
am I
supposedly
fair?
not coming out till 2019 as well.
Yeah.
You're right. They usually don't on TV shows like the season every year. But I mean,
At
like,
the
it's
best.
such a fucking cult hit that they're like,
What does that have to do with anything?
know.
David
They're like,
Harbour's filming Hellboy.
we haven't got anything in
It's-
January. Quick, let's.
Yeah, all those kids are
I don't
probably
know.
like,
I don't know.
they're
I'm just
too
saying
high
maybe.
for
They're
fun
probably
now.
back at
maybe.
school.
Saying maybe. Oh, true. I guess cool.
I've got written here the memes were so good.
I don't know
about
the
that.
answer to that one.
I
memes
just don't
is-
think that's going to happen
Can't
that
fact
quick.
check it.
The
Sorry.
memes were so good about that shitty episode, and I've got here we need a meme podcast. It's just a podcast about memes. I would love
All
that
our
so
favourite
much.
memes.
All right, let's move on to Iona. Do you want to hit us with your Marvel ranking?
Oh,
Do you want to
God.
jump into that?
So you guys are gonna kill me because
So-
this is my opinion.
Oh
yes.
yes, I'm so
Yeah.
keen.
I'm keen to the beans.
I'm
I
excited.
already-
So
I've
either
said this
confirm
before.
everything I thought.
4-2 way too high. Winter Soldier way too low. Mine's just perfect.
I'm so
If I'm
happy
gonna-
with
if
where I
I-
have Thor
Okay,
too.
so if
I think
you
it's so
pulled me
underrated.
up on the numbers and said why was that for every single thing, well, I thought so hard about this. I will give an essay about why it's ranked that number.
Good.
Seriously.
That's your
That's what we
homework for
like
next
to
podcast.
We were just
bring it.
guessing as we were going.
Bring it. Because you know what? I actually love
Feels
what I
like
did.
an 8. Feels like a 9.
I love what I did for that episode where I had all the little swish, swish,
No,
swish,
it was like
I
I
had the
had-
episode, all the
so-
movies go along
Yeah.
the screen. I love doing that. little
Yeah, that was good.
So this is how I did it. I wrote down the numbers and I was like, okay, this is guaranteed the favorite one.
Yep.
And then don't
Sorry,
look
sorry,
yet,
sorry.
don't look yet. But and it's like, and then I was like, what is my most hated one? I was like, yep, this one for sure. And then it kind of got to the point where I was like, all right, why do I want to put it this one?
Yeah.
I was really hard on myself.
You put it way. I think you put a lot of effort into it. I just did. I was like, what am I feeling today? Like, I'm hungry.
It
Let's
changes. It changes day to
does.
day. Doesn't
Well,
it?
okay,
I
that's-
had to
okay.
look at it again
No,
today. I was
not
like,
for me.
Well, okay.
I'm pretty happy
a
with
little
mine.
bit
I
changed.
am
like
happy with
1
mine.
to 1.
But I was gonna say, so we're gonna do your ranking, and then we're gonna put Thor Ragnarok into our rankings.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
fit him in, and then I've said to these guys, you can get one amendment if you want, because I remember as we were talking, like. It's like I was like, oh, Doctor Strange should maybe be lower and Iron Man 3 should be higher for me. I was gonna swap those two as like my amendment, and you get one because once I went down that rabbit hole, I'm like, oh, Spider-Man should be high. I was like, this should be low, and I was like, no, just like have some integrity,
Yeah.
Jack, and
Push
just
Winter
stick,
Soldier
and just
down a
stick
little
with
bit
it.
further.
Oh, fuck you.
You can't get it like any lower.
Any lower, it'll fall off the list.
You can go to like
That's so
Hulk.
funny in that
If you put it
podcast.
any lower, Kevin Feige will come out and be like, Winter Soldier is no longer canonical.
Okay.
It's not part of the MCU. because of Felix.
I love how Jack was like angry at me for ages about where I had Winter Soldier, and I had it at like 6, and then we were doing yours straight after, and you were like, last place is Hulk, and we were like, yeah, good job, Felix, you got that one right. And then you're like, second last, Winter Soldier, and Jack like walked off. It was great. There you go, guys.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Well, he went
Alright.
Thor 2 like 5th, and like someone commented, like a random commented on our video, and he was just like,
That was like our
he was like,
first like random YouTuber.
yeah, he's like, I never thought I'd see the day where Thor 2 was in the top 5. I'm like, right?
You know,
Like, it's good, but it's not it's not
Can I
top
just say,
5.
I think it's very underrated. Not because of the villain.
No, it's not. It's perfectly rated fine. It's a decent movie.
No,
it's where it should be.
The villain in Thor 2
Oh my
is
God.
terrible, but it does things that no other Marvel film does, and I based it on many, many factors. I'm
No
like
one else.
Iona, I researched.
Yeah, I'm like,
Alright,
Felix,
so
he's
the
like,
thing
Winter
is-
Soldier put me to sleep, so 14. You gotta watch
I
the
did.
film.
I watched the whole thing.
Time to sleep. That's, yeah.
Alright, so
What do you want from me?
Hit us with your list.
I realized because
jeez.
after when you said rate them, there's so many different ways to rate them, and they can change drastically. So, like if you're rating it with comedy,
Oh,
or
you're looking for a pen?
favorite
Yes,
thing.
thank you.
But the thing was,
It's been in
I was
Felix's
kind of
mouth.
a bit like, well, what's my end game? So after me watching it maybe 6 or 7 times each film, because I'm just that type of person that will
Holy
rewatch.
crap.
I will rewatch a film or a TV
That's
show.
a lot.
every-
That's a
How many
lot.
times?
like, I will
sorry?
keep, like
6
6
or
or 7
7.
each. Like serious, I love rewatching films.
Honest to God, I've probably seen
Because-
Avengers like 10 times.
No, but solely because I don't just when I first watch a film, I don't look at the storyline. I just look at the photography first.
like
That's
120 movies.
and then I'll.
I don't have a calculator, so I'm trying to do it in my head.
everything.
So I want a whiteboard for Felix. I'm like, quick maths. Like, whatever. Felix just does it.
Alright, so I'll start my list.
Yeah, let's
I'll
get
start
this
it.
party
I just like
started.
similar. When I try and, because everyone's like, oh, Jack, you like overthink everything and you judge things too hardly. I'm like, I try to shut all that out when I see the movie the first time. I try and just be absorbed. And then it's like, if I like it or if I maybe don't like it, if I see it again, the second viewing is like, all right, now let's sort of look at this critically. Like, why did they pick that
I'm the
shot?
opposite.
Like, how is this like sort of structured? Or like, let's look at that effect. Whereas like, I really do try and like just kind of immerse myself in the picture. Like when I watched it the first time, in the
Alright.
moving picture.
I'll start with
Alright.
number 17.
Alright,
And
at the
of
bottom.
course, it's Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
It's just,
I'll allow it.
yeah.
Why is it so bad?
No, that's a whole nother podcast.
Okay.
We don't have time. We don't have time.
Or do
Number
we?
16 is Incredible Hulk, of course.
I
Which
think you're the
agree.
exact same as me
Yeah,
so far.
Yeah. Oh.
Well done, Iona. Yeah.
I'll allow it.
See, because we thought really hard about this, unlike you guys.
What do you mean?
Just nothing.
All
Doesn't
I
So
wanted
them
to
two,
do was
right?
make sure
I
that
wanted
Winter
to rate
Soldier
them at both at number 17, but I thought, well, what one do I want to
Ouch.
rewatch?
Yeah.
So what one? If I had to sit in front of a TV, which one of them would be Incredible?
I kept trying to rewatch the Hulk as if I was trying to convince myself it was good.
I just
and then I was
can't
like,
watch
I've probably
Iron
seen that
Man
movie like
2
4
again.
times.
I
I'm
think
like,
I've
it's
seen
not
it
good.
5 or 6 times, and every time I'm just like, I would never
Once.
want to watch this again. I can remember everything that happens. It's not worth it. And then like a year later comes, and
Well,
I'm
no,
like, I could probably watch that
See,
again.
that's different. I think I forget because I'm like, it is so forgettable. I'm like, what happened to that movie? Like, it was good, right? I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like, I don't know. It's a weird. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
All right, coming in at 15, Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, below Thor 1. That's interesting. That's we all put it up. Oh wow, shit got real. Sorry. we all
And
put
coming
Thor.
in at number 14 is Thor.
So
Balance of probabilities. You're wrong on that one.
But I think
This
there's
is my
also a factor
opinion.
of like which heroes you like. I think
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's very easy for me to put Iron Man 1 low, even though I like Iron Man 1 because I got 2 and 3 so low. I don't know. That was in my
No,
head.
I see Thor's probably
I
one
know-
of my
I know what you
favorite
mean, yeah.
characters,
You're
but
a bit
the
biased.
films just didn't.
So that's
I mean,
interesting.
I mean, that's how I feel about Iron Man. Like, Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man is that world, is like the center point, is the core of that universe. And I'm like, he's got like one good film.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
But he shines in the
three's like-
ensemble films.
That's right.
yeah, true. All right, cue
Alright,
Jack's
so
little
number
animation.
13.
He's Jack's little animation.
Of what?
It's like the movies from the If you're an audio listener, there is posters
alright, so-
swooshing across the screen right
Well, no,
Swooshing.
you should put in the sound effect as well, man. That way they know what you're doing.
The old PowerPoint sound effect.
Alright, what's
number
next?
13 is we're up to 13. I'm gonna get lost so easily.
17, 16,
Choose
15,
your
14,
words
13
carefully,
years.
Iona.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Bit of bias here.
Polarizing.
Number 12. Number 12.
Where's Captain
is,
America? Get rid of it.
Ant-Man.
Oh.
Now,
Same with
alright.
Sean and Felix. Am I the only one that liked that
So,
film?
alright, so no, this is the thing.
I feel like you like it because of Paul Rudd.
No,
it's not
I
a great
love
film.
that film, but if I'm thinking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think of that film.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
It is pretty easy to just not
It's a
consider that
fantastic standalone film.
Yeah.
But when I put it with all
Really,
the other
only
films, I just-
connection, apart from a few name drops, the only connection is Falcon and the Avengers base.
He they mention Stark a lot. They don't like
They-
Stark.
yeah, that's
yeah,
what I
of
mean,
course
name
they
dropping.
do, because
you're
it
right.
needs to have
Wait,
some
Stark's in
sort
it.
of relationship.
In Ant-Man, I don't.
Yeah, he
think
is.
So.
Oh, sorry. Tony Stark's dad, isn't it? Howard Stark. With
Yeah.
Peggy in that
yes.
opening scene in the 80s.
Yes, but Iron Man's not.
Yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah, Peggy's in. That's cool.
It's a funny scene. It's because they have digitally de-aged Michael Douglas.
Douglas, yes.
They've de-aged him digitally, and then with Peggy, Agent Carter,
Hayley Atwell.
they've make-upped her to be older. So it's all these characters playing younger or older versions of themselves. Like no one's just themselves.
I like
Like-
that though. Like I like that the cinematic universe now spans like 60 years.
Yeah,
so they have
no,
to
I
do
do
that,
too.
or they can do that. I don't know. I think it's really cool.
Number 11. Captain America, the Winter
Winter Soldier.
It is decided. She's wrong with everything else.
Can't even
But-
bring myself to write it down. Are you kidding? Iona, I wanted you to bump the average up. Are you serious?
Wait, where was it sitting on the average?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8.
So it's gonna go down.
So that's still good. It's above the top, but now it's damn it.
now it's in the bottom
Damn.
half.
It's gonna go down to like 10 now.
I don't know. Maybe if it was
Christ.
just a better movie, it would have done better.
You know what's funny? As I was thinking about that, is like I think I do like it too much, and I think it's like it's probably not. The film is probably like a 7. There's just scenes in that film that I think are like a 10. That's what makes it for me, and that's what
Yeah.
makes me a lot of
You
films
do
for me.
Well,
mention
that's-
like
and the genre
the
films
That's
elevator
with
scene a
every
lot.
film, though. If you think about that, every
Yeah.
MC film has a fantastic moment.
Yeah.
You know, except the last two, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
like that's how.
yeah,
like
it's
that's how I
just
feel about.
kind of the ones that you remember
Yeah.
are the ones that should go up a little bit higher.
That's disappointing. That really is.
a
Wait,
little bit
you put it
salty.
below Cap 1.
Yeah. All right, that film has. All right, this is. All right.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I mean, I put it higher, but I didn't
Okay,
expect
when
anyone
we
else
get to
to.
Captain America,
you're a
all right. So when we
you're a
get to Captain
Satanist.
America, I'll explain why
All
it's
right,
there.
this is a journey, fellas.
So then number 10 is Doctor Strange. So that's kind of halfway point for me.
You and I have been very similar, except for
You guys,
Thor
look
2.
at that. Ant-Man's the same. Thor's the same.
Oh, it is too.
Iron Man 2, Hulk, and Doctor
I
Strange.
mean, they're
are
all
the
pretty
same.
close at least. It looks.
And they're all close, except for Thor 2. We've been like within one of each other.
Yeah, well, at least you put Cap 2 high. 'Cause you're a smart man who enjoys cinema.
Yeah, that's going to be my amendment. I'm going to put
Man,
it so
I enjoy
low.
cinema. I
You're
enjoy
gonna
cinema.
swap it with Iron Man 2 just to fuck.
Just to fuck with you. Just to bring the
Just
average
to
down
fuck
to
up
like
the average.
14.
Sorry, I do.
Pretty
All
close.
right. Captain number 9 is Captain America: Civil War.
Whoa.
What?
Yes.
the fuck?
Whoa.
I knew you guys were gonna hate me on this.
Okay, explain.
Oh,
All
wow.
right. So
You have to
this-
explain yourself,
All right.
yeah.
So this film
You have to
is.
try to explain yourself.
I've written down some notes.
Oh.
If anyone on Civil War, just because I knew you guys
Oh,
were gonna.
geez, that's fucking
Put us in that
loud.
place. By the end of this, we're gonna be like, she's right. I'm gonna amend Civil War down.
Should do the Lindsay Ellis thing. We'll be like,
Alright,
oh,
so-
damn it, every Disney film
tell us why Civil War is not that great.
Wow. Now I'm thrown on the spot. Okay, so Captain America: Civil War is
Great.
because it's really hard to where to start. When I first watched it, it was the first film I've walked out of, and I thought it didn't deliver what I wanted.
Yeah, I thought you meant it.
No, I did not.
All good. Did you see Jack?
Okay.
Really, Ant-Man's big now? Like,
No. Okay, so because there's so many characters in this, and it was the first Marvel film, MCU film to come out that was kind of, had so many characters in it. I think the story was just so overwhelmed, and they had to throw in Panther as well, that you couldn't, it turned into this lousy storyline where no one was communicating, and I was so frustrated because the amount of times Captain America was like, this is actually the villain, and Tony Stark, being this complete genius, doesn't follow up on it. I mean, the one person that
But it was
they
an
think-
emotional thing because
And you
he
can
killed his
understand where they're
parents.
coming from. There's
Yeah.
He learns at the
But
end.
it's
yeah.
so I rewatched it today as well because I was thinking
you, okay.
these guys are gonna hate
being
hate
thorough.
me.
Unemployed.
But it's just it doesn't deliver. I walked in with such high expectations
Get a job,
because
Iona.
there are so many great characters being introduced. So we've got Spider-Man who needs to live up to his expectations,
Dude, you
and
exceeded
then
everywhere. You exceeded
and then
everybody.
your Black Panther, and it was
awful
kind
cool.
of the last little bit of it where Captain and Tony Stark and Winter Soldier are all fighting, and it just was so pointless. And I was kind of just sitting there like, I hope it just wraps all up within the next 2 minutes. And it went on for maybe 10 minutes, and it was still not resolved because they're all just in their own heads. And I mean, I know this story was so important. This was probably the most important film out of the MCU, which I guaranteed for a fact. If I had to rate most important ones, that would be number one, because they needed to go through that, but it was just not good for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So-
You're not alone though. I know many people that are like, Spider-Man was cool, but Civil War was like, okay. And I'm like, what? Like, did we watch the same film? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people do find it kind of, because it has a slower pace, I think, than a lot of things. And it isn't as funny, actually. It's like, it's a lot more serious, and there's a lot of
See,
lines. And
I
I
I
just,
don't think
yeah,
it had
that's-
to be
that's-
funnier.
I
though.
did. I think it
that's
had
right.
such great character moments.
That's why
I
Doctor
watched
Strange is so low, because I love that film so much, but the thing that the MCU really struggle with is humor and delivering it at good times. And Doctor Strange
Doctor
was
Strange, I think other
Doctor
things-
Strange was probably the biggest example for me, because there were no real intense moments. Like, the best one that I can think of instantly is when he's just got off the surgery table from the lady, I can't remember her name.
Rachel McAdams is...
Yeah, and he washes his hands, and he gets this fantastic moment where he's really thinking about what he's going to do next. And then the cape ruins it and wipes off his tear.
I've seen
it's
a
like,
thing
no,
about
don't do that.
Yeah,
because
they sort of ruin it.
that
It's what we
loses the
talked about
intensity
that word.
of that
Bathos,
moment.
that's right.
No,
And you kind of lose kind of that relationship and that building to get to the next scene. So instead it's being cut off by humor. And that's what I liked about Civil War, is that you weren't cut off by any of that humor. There was no humorous parts, and it was really intense. And that's
I think
what it needed to
Spider-Man
be.
was good like that too.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
what
that
I
I
always
need to
say
talk
is
about
you
Spider-Man.
know that character as funny. Like, I hate when characters just like break character to deliver a joke, because some producer was like, throw a joke in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Spider-Man's a funny character, and he's quipping and joking, and they're like getting mad at him. Like, Falcon says that line, he's like, I don't know if you've been in a fight before, but there's not usually this much talking. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. like
Yeah, that's Spider-Man's character. This is
Yeah.
what, when we get to Thor, I'll argue with you about that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Because we keep talking about how Thor 3 is like, is it good, is it bad? And I'm like, the more I think about it, the less I like it. Whereas other people are like, best Marvel film yet.
See, the more I think about it, I think I like it. But it's I mean, it's polarized. But, fuck, I had so many points. My head's.
But
going
Civil
crazy.
War, I mean, we should let Iona finish because
All
it's
right,
her last
so,
podcast.
Yeah. All right, so number 8. So this is when it started getting seriously hard. For
Yeah, I
me.
agree with you, mate.
God damn
It was so funny because Civil War, like, there is like.
I was just looking at the list,
You
and
got very-
you all had it so high, and I'm just like,
two,
oh my
two, and
God,
4,
I'm
and then
gonna
wham, 9.
it.
That's
You're running
that's
out of
so
opportunities to redeem yourself there.
funny. Yeah,
I think just one more quick
That's
note
all right.
on Civil War. I thought the pacing of it and the characters of it were all extremely well balanced, because the
same-
clever
same.
thing about that
Same.
film is it's set over like 2 or 3 days. So there's all these things that are like happening, and they immediately affect the next thing, and it's and you get and all the characters are quite sort of balanced and spread out, and you get to see both sides.
Yeah.
Like every time Cap came on and he talked about how Bucky was like being brainwashed, I was like, he's right. And then Iron Man came on and talked about how like this was happening, and I was like, oh my God, he's right.
Yeah,
And then they fought, and I was like,
yeah.
ah!
It's like they understood that their characters aren't each going to have that much screen time. So it's like every line I felt just like had some weight.
Every
and a punch
line
to it.
was so well
just Black
delivered.
Panther talking to his father, and he was like, "We have hidden in the shuttles for generations, and now we must like come to the world." And they're just like, and they talk about his mother somehow really quick, and like in the way like he's like the body moves on after death, and I was just like, I was like, everything is like. it's like referencing from the comics and things like that. And I was like, it's just this short little interaction.
The
And then
emotion in every character.
I watched it a couple of days ago. I think the end fight does drag a bit with Iron Man and Cap, but I think it is just like, it's when you finally see the flaws in these characters. It's like Iron Man, his emotions get to him. He's like, he says that line. He's like, "Did you know Rogers?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "Pfft." And then he's like, "God damn it!" And then he says, like he's like, "Tony, don't kill Bucky." And he's like, I don't care. He killed my mom, sort of thing. He's like, and that's just like, he's like, I don't care anymore. And then Cap gets in his way, and even Cap, like Cap is like, he's got he has like tunnel vision when it comes to Bucky. Like he doesn't see other things. Like, and he just kind of gets wrapped up in the fight. And you see him like rip the helmet off and shove him with the shield and stuff like that. And it does lose like it doesn't have as much quipping, so there is tension there. But even there is an underlying feeling of like they're kind of just play fighting a little bit. Because even at the end, it's like, Tony, I'm sorry we had a fight. Here's a phone. Call me if you need me. I love you, bro. And Tony's like, yeah. And he supposedly has that phone in Infinity War trailer.
I don't remember that specific
Yeah,
detail.
neither do I.
Sorry, Continue just the
Okay,
list.
All
so
the
this is when
conflict
it
was
started
great in
getting
that
very
movie.
hard.
That's probably my favorite part of it. The part that you seem to not like about it was
That's why I don't understand
No,
why you don't like
it's-
Winter Soldier, because it's the same direction. The cinematography is so good.
Yeah. Look, this is what I started kind of, because it started getting really hard, and putting Civil War, rewatching it today, it was kind of a bit, look, it is where it needs to be for me, because there are films I'd rather rewatch again,
Yeah.
and
So
that I see are like really, really good.
I have one more question for you though. Like, the third act was, I guess, drawn out, but in terms of that was the first time we've seen two heroes like properly fight, because I think we sort of briefly got it in Avengers, with Thor and them, and it may be like the last, because now they're like so invested in stopping Thanos for the next few movies, I guess. Was that like a determining factor for you guys? Like that like this was a very different sort of superhero film, because the villain, he barely throws a punch, Like it was all about the conflict between the heroes.
I think
the
it
physical
worked because,
conflict.
it worked because that's what Marvel have done. They've built up these beautiful heroes. But
Yeah.
it is like a constant reminder that they've got like shit villains kind of thing. But yeah. I do
Yeah.
agree the plot is a little convoluted. Like once you get into it, like the villain's plan is a bit like, how did he know
Yeah.
this was going to happen? But
Yeah.
anyway, I really
Okay.
like it.
So number 8, Captain America, the first
My
Avenger.
God.
So this is. Wait, where is it on you guys?
Oh, Iona, that's amazing.
Oh, I'm the exact same.
No, I
wait,
love
no.
Cap 1, but
Okay.
above Civil War 2.
So Captain America 1 that's a soft spot, because that's what got me into Marvel and like the whole.
That's cool.
The whole Marvel cinematic universe,
Yeah.
because I used to read a lot of the comics when I was little, and I never really, and I was quite young when Iron Man came out, but
It's 10 years
and
ago
Captain
now.
America,
We're all young.
yeah, Captain
yeah,
America,
wow.
the first Avenger, was like a really soft spot for me. And rewatching that film as well, because I rewatched that a couple of days ago, it's still fantastic.
I think it is really good.
It's a really good film,
I think
and
it's like a strong message, I think. And
And the villain in that Red Skull is not great, but he has the sort of added like intrinsic sort of benefit of being like he like symbolizes the Nazis, I guess. So he's like he's not a
associate
great
everything else with
villain
him.
on his
Yeah.
own, maybe, but he's like it's an ideology thing.
But
so
everyone hates
I mean,
Nazis, so
yeah,
yeah,
I think I have
Yeah.
I think I have a soft spot for like I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I like period pieces. So when it was like
Yeah,
a
well, that
movie,
too,
World War
yeah.
II, and I was like, I'm digging this and like and all that kind of stuff.
I just liked how he slipped in with the whole
Yeah.
thing, and he became more of, instead of him becoming like this hero straight away, he became like a hero in the eye of American and British people
Yeah,
that's
before
right.
he actually became an actual
That was a clever
hero,
take.
that was a
which I
clever
thought
that was a clever
really
twist.
clever.
Yeah, he's just
And-
used as propaganda.
And then, like,
yeah.
you just, watching that, you actually realize how true of a soul he is when it comes to being a superhero. Like, he's actually probably the most, like, Tony Stark says, I hate you. He's like, you're always so perfect or
I
something.
want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
Yeah, and it's kind of,
great
well,
lines.
he
Just, I mean, every
is.
line's so good. Yeah.
Because, like, he is actually quite perfect. And that whole...
Isn't he
Yes,
just? Isn't
he
just?
is.
I'm talking about his personality here.
Oh yeah,
But no,
just the
it's-
whole package. I mean.
It's
Yeah.
just, Yeah,
Perfect
and like
package.
the fact that he stays really true to that in all of it, and he's the team leader, and he's really about teamwork and stuff, and that's just
He's a great hero.
because-
He's my favorite MCU hero. He's my favorite Marvel hero, I think.
Yeah.
I've been saying that even before the movies because I
Yeah.
just love the fact that he's just like a dude with like a shield. Like his whole thing is like he
injected with
symbolizes.
stuff, though.
Yeah, like he's strong, but like they're all strong. Like
He's very like pure.
He's
kind
tactical.
Of.
he's
Yeah,
so like
that's-
pure
yeah.
and tactical,
He's
and
doing
his
everything
whole
for the
thing is just like
riders.
embodiment of like protecting people.
That's why I think the Russo brothers nailed is just the fighting styles and showing so much personality through the fight. Like, you see that when he fights Spider-Man. Spider-Man's stronger than Cap and has like the webbing, and you see him like he uses Spider-Man's like body weight against him. Like he like pulls the web and he kind of whiplashes him, and so Spider-Man's like jumping and then
Yeah.
he kicks him.
Yeah.
He uses Spider-Man's weight against him, and then he throws the shield at the carrier and it like lands on him. Like, I love all that shit. Well, the choreography's fantastic.
The Russo brothers did a great
What's
job.
next? Number 7, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh, okay. I think we had it around that area. That's
Yeah,
sort of-
we had.
It's definitely like the midpoint. Yeah,
That's about right.
cool.
I'm allowed to have opinions.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's just
Just not on this show.
Do you have any quick
So-
points to make on number 2, Avengers 2?
Avengers 2 was. So it would be so much higher if. 2 reasons. They didn't kill off Quicksilver, because he's one of my favorite characters
I
as
agree.
well.
was a shame.
And that
was
was
a shame.
really, like, pissed me off.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it did too.
Absolutely pissed me off. And then the other
agree.
thing that pissed me off was the amount of advertised adverts in there.
Oh.
Product placements. It was like him zooming in on the beats. Watch
Like-
it next time, and he's like got the razor, and it's got the package right there.
Never watched
And it's
Transformers.
it's just get over it.
I know.
And it's like they got the beats, and they're like
They're gonna pay
and
for
it's-
Robert Downey Jr. somehow. He's
Oh,
gonna buy his
that was like
Yeah.
my tipping point. So when they killed off that character, and you just
Yeah.
saw an advert in the corner, you're like, oh.
No, I agree. Quicksilver's wearing like Nikes or whatever. Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Quicksilver. I just would have liked to see a speedster in that ensemble. It's
Yeah.
like we talk about diversity in terms of like age and gender and personality, but even just diversity of powers, because
Yeah.
they've all got quite punchy
Yeah,
powers.
they're all
like
very
Thor's like
strong.
ooh, and Hulk's like
Yeah.
ooh, and Cap's like ooh, and it's like I just would like someone to be like swish or whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
that sound you make.
All right.
And plus, like slow-mo scenes in X-Men or even in Flash,
Yeah.
the TV show,
Yeah.
they just look incredible. They're
They
just
do.
so
They
fun.
look great.
Even in Justice League.
In
That's
Justice
pretty-
League was
yeah.
one
why
of the
they
best.
killed.
Yeah.
That's probably why they killed him off, was
Because they didn't want to do it.
Quicksilver in Days of Future Past was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't want to battle,
don't
like
know.
try and beat
Possibly.
that. Yeah.
Who knows?
There's
They
too
already
much
got-
of it.
they already
And Flash
got-
is huge as
Those
well.
scenes
Yeah.
to put them together is like incredibly difficult. So maybe they just like, too much for us. We don't want
Yeah.
it to be the best. Anyway, it'll be.
Number 6, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh, eh?
It wasn't as good as the first one, in my opinion.
No, I agree. That's very similar to where I had it.
It's- But it was still good, so that's why it's like in the top 8 for me.
One above you, yeah.
I had serious trouble figuring out which one was better.
You had
No,
it as
I
1 and 2, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's like-
they're both like as good as each other. I reckon.
I don't know. If I go back and watch them, I have a different opinion. I honestly, I think 2 is just like a teensy bit in front of 1. Like to me, like I think it's both Guardians, and then 2 for me, because I thought the weakest part of Guardians is the villain. So 2 just has a villain, and I'm like, that's like it's just like, like it's like this, it's just like they're both Guardians, and it's like, well, I have a better villain. Like it's like what's the word? Like just minuscule the leap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Iron Man. Now, this is really interesting because Iron Man for me is he's not my favorite character, but watching that film, it is such a great introduction into Marvel.
Such a good film.
It's a perfect tipping point because it's nothing crazy. It's actually it's
There's, like,
believable,
one action scene,
and
yeah.
you're kind of like, well, he's
Yeah.
a genius and stuff, and he's fighting a terrorist, and it's like, yeah, and then you kind of are able to dip more into the more crazier, diverse stuff like Captain America and how
Yeah.
he has all these superpowers and stuff. You had this amazing starting point with Iron Man where he's like, yeah, he's a pure genius, and it was just...
It's an amazing film.
It is good.
I think I had it too low, but I really get
9.
bored by the last like half hour.
It kind of is a bit, yeah. It's just like a guy with a bigger suit.
It's
It's
just
like
like,
it could have been a bit
okay.
more creative, I think. But just when he's just making all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best part of the film, when he's building the suit.
Right at
all
the
his like
beginning.
crazy tech stuff was just like, you'd never seen anything like that. It was so cool.
It was cool.
And like, we
It was
won't
cool.
get it, but I'd say I would love like in Infinity War of him just building like a spacesuit or something like that. I don't know, just some sort of nod to him building.
Like a
something.
video montage of him testing it.
Yeah, I don't know, just anything.
So number 4, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, I thought
Hey.
you didn't like it that much. Oh shit, that's real high.
Yeah, but then I thought about it.
Oh. Then I use my brain.
All right, so the reason why I like that, right, is because
Sean's knuckles just
yeah,
like white.
look,
Yeah.
honestly, the only thing I did not look, I would put that as up a little bit higher, but the only thing I didn't like about it was that they could have honestly cut out Helen and that whole storyline completely
Yeah.
and just focused on the Hulk and that whole on the planet, and it's just like
Yeah, on
this
the
colourful thing, and
junk
it
planet.
mixes, and it's just like the space Thor flying through the air, and it's like pew pew pew, and it's like, oh, it's so good. But the whole Helen character, she had no characteristics
Hela,
or stuff.
Hela.
You say
Oh,
Helen?
Yeah, I said Helen. I've
You
read
can call her Helen if you want.
Okay.
I was going to let you
The
go.
goddess
for
of
this
hell
one.
is.
Helen.
I like that actually.
But no, she has no.
No, I agree. I thought she
She's
was.
just this sword lady.
She was just she was unfortunately another like throwaway Marvel
Yeah,
villain.
and
Like
Just didn't need that part. Like the whole.
that's the main
Being
if they
complaint.
just
is they-
focused on
Asgard.
the
Sakata,
whole
yeah.
and didn't focus on Ragnarok, then I would have been really.
That's
but
the
it
name
was.
of the. No, I agree.
But
That's
it's-
one of the main
It didn't need
complaints.
to be though,
It
did
was
it?
good. I was
Didn't need to be
happy.
the
I
name of the
sat
movie.
down. I
Most of
smiled.
that film didn't need to happen.
See, I think you're very. I think you need to see it again. I think because I don't know. It's
Yeah, maybe.
that's one of the main complaints is that it is like clearly like they like the focus is on the B story and not the A story. Like they love everything on that planet, and then the Asgard stuff is just kind of same.
I would have loved to have seen so much more of that junk planet. More so.
Oh,
than-
yeah.
That's what I
more
mean.
so than
Because it's like
Because-
they
Stuff with
liked
Hela.
That should have been the movie then, I guess.
because that was the
Because-
playground for him to like be free. And they would like the Marvel's like, well, Asgard. And he's like, like all right.
Here
And they're
we
like,
go.
do something with the Warriors 3. He's like,
What's,
killed him. And they're
What's the
like,
guy's name? What's the guy's name?
Just
and
think it
he's
through.
the
Grandmaster.
The Grandmaster, right? What's
so
really
good.
interesting about him is he's actually the brother of the creator.
The collector.
Yeah,
The collector.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
the-
kind of
there's
there's a
four of
really
them?
cool connection.
Four?
So that if they could have just
They haven't
focused
said how
on
many, I
that
don't
and
think.
then brought him in as like a joke or something.
That's what I thought they
that's
could have
what-
done.
yeah.
If they'd made it, if there'd been an Infinity Stone there, or if he'd had to freeze something or break something out or met someone else, I don't know. The Grandmaster might have made a better villain because Helen was like sitting over there, like,
Yeah.
and none of that
I
made
like
sense at all. She was like Thor's sister. She had like a claim to the throne. She was like an old war hero that had come back. It was so weird, and she just started killing everyone. She's like, I want to restore Asgard to its rightful
Yeah.
glory. So she like tore it down.
because
It was like,
she like
the whole thing was just so like, okay.
I think
If they just focused on
Yeah.
Hulk, that would have been good because he was
Yeah. I
I wanted
hilarious. He
Hela
was
to be-
really
Hulk,
good.
That's what I was saying
She's
to
the
you.
goddess of death.
That's yeah. I
Well,
thought they were gonna do
yeah,
that. Like
but-
it was like she was kind of like the worst parts of both Thor and Loki. Like I think they could have done it so much better. Like it's like they are like his sister. You know what they should have done? They should have killed off Loki. They should just killed him off. What?
Well, they've
You're not a fan?
Just to
or-
shake things up. No, well,
Just to shake things
they,
up,
They
okay.
literally
Right.
say that. Thor calls him out in the film. He's like, brother. He's like, you've stayed the same. He's like, I've
Yeah.
changed. He's like, you betray me, and then I catch you, and then I trust you,
I'm
and then
so
you betray
happy
me.
they wrote-
And I was
put
like,
that in.
because I was like, I didn't catch that until he said that, and I was like, oh shit. He has stayed the same. There is no character development. And I know that goes against what I usually say is you can't just call something out, you have to fix it. I didn't know it was a problem until Thor said that. And then I was like, and I was like, where does Loki go from here? Because like in that film, like Avengers, he was the villain, but in that film, he like very easily gets like beaten up by like Valkyrie and Doctor Strange and everybody. Like, I'm like, does Marvel not know what to do with him? And I was like, they should just kill him.
I think
Like,
he
That's
just
the
had
whole
to.
point. He's supposed to be like not a jester, but like
Yeah.
a chaotic god, right?
Yeah, he's just, like,
you're supposed to
mischievous.
not mischievous.
Yeah.
You're supposed to
Yeah.
not know what he's
The
doing.
That's what I
trickster.
mean. I was like,
You never know.
I felt sad for him. I
Age
was like, he doesn't
Voltron
have.
that comes along. See, my theory is, you know how at the very end scene they're on the spaceship, and then
Oh, and he
the
sees
big,
the Tesseract.
no, the big Thanos thing spaceship comes. I think it's Thanos that's in it. Anyway, it's a
assume so,
big
yeah.
ship, and you're kind of sitting there, and you're thinking, now, that's where I think Infinity starts.
Yeah.
Is that Loki, he actually grabbed the
he
Tesseract.
worked for Thanos in
and
the
I
first
reckon
one.
he's grabbed it, and that's
forgot
how
about
Thanos has been able to track him down. Hence why the spaceship comes, and they're like, well, what the hell?
I actually think that's why Taika
And-
Waititi had to put Loki in Thor Ragnarok, because the whole thing like leads to him going to the throne room, picking up the Tesseract, and then getting back on the ship with Thor.
It was so subtle, but it's a thing that, again, it's a thing that if you do think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that did happen. It's something that you don't really forget.
I think that all but confirms that the last Infinity Stone, the Soul Stone, I believe, is in Wakanda. Hence why he's like can communicate with his father's dead soul, and also would explain the giant battle army that is in Wakanda. Because I was like, why are they trying
That's
to get to
gonna be
Wakanda?
really
Like, oh,
interesting.
that must be where that's.
Yeah, I was
also
watching
there.
that trailer. I was
Why
like,
else
oh,
would
that's
they?
where
He's
it
like,
is.
prepare the defenses and get this mana shield.
Maybe it's in his ring or something, because isn't there like a ring that he has?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
It would make sense. I don't. Like,
There's too many that land on Earth.
that's my problem. Yeah,
That's
it's
a
like,
big thing.
Like anyway, because the time one Doctor Strange just found in the library or whatever. Like,
Tesseract.
See, the time one I'm okay
was
with
on
because
Earth,
that could
wasn't
have.
it? That was-
That's an ancient
that was.
ritual.
That was
thing,
in the
so that could have come
church.
to Earth years.
Too
World
many
War
things
II
just land on
ago.
Earth.
I
like
guess
Thor's
that's.
hammer.
But I guess that's what it is. It's like the death. It's like fate. Like that's why.
True. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, plus, it wouldn't be interesting.
where
if
are we?
It was
When
happening
you
on
find
Earth.
Oh, all right, so-
top three.
Top
Sorry,
three
guys. Running long.
is
Jesus,
Avengers.
yeah.
Is
Sorry?
which one?
Avengers.
Oh.
Just Avengers.
It's still up there though. I think that's
Oh
fair.
wow. Yeah, that's same as Felix with that one.
Okay, number 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Spider-Man: Homecoming
Number
is
two.
amazing.
Spider-Man is
Yeah.
very good.
I had it at what, 3 or 4?
You had it at 4. I had it at 7, which I feel is too low.
It was all right. So
Sorry,
not
Tommy.
only is it a good Marvel film, but it is such a good standalone. It is a great teen comedy because talking about Riverdale and about how teenagers don't talk like that.
You're the
Spider-Man
best. I literally was going to say that. I was
does.
like, Spider-Man doesn't get enough credit
Spider-Man-
for how well those kids are in that film.
Like, yeah,
it's so
accurate,
so
and
real.
it's
Like
because
kids.
it's written
It's so
by.
real that you don't even think about it because it's so good.
It's written by the people, or one of the guys that wrote Freaks and Geeks. If you guys have ever seen that, it is
Yeah.
such a great TV
That's
show.
cool.
I didn't know.
And
didn't
he's
know that
one of the
either.
writers for it, and that's why it was just because they're young men that have written it who have been through the thing, and they actually.
Sorry, I just like that. It's
Wait,
like
what?
it's like how do you what makes you a writer? It's like because I grew up. I used to be a boy. They're like, no way. That sets you apart from everyone. You had a child.
But
You
and
weren't
like,
just instantly a man like all of us here.
and I mean, it's the same with Thor Ragnarok. You saw where the end game was going.
Yeah.
But with Spider-Man, you didn't. You didn't know
Because
who.
they told you in the first 5 minutes of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
They're like, he's like spinning around, and the fire demon's sitting there like, hey, so exposition, this is how it's going to end, fire and death. And Thor's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll try and stop that.
And
Okay.
that
but
leaves-
Spider-Man: Homecoming, where the dad is the villain all along, you're like, oh shit!
It's one of the best.
Yeah,
villains.
It's
He's a
good.
good
Look,
villain.
honestly,
He is probably the
and
best villain
I
in
just
the
loved
MCU.
how it slipped in to the the first Avengers, where it's all the wreckage. You
That's
just
why
and
Sean
that's
likes it,
it
yeah.
makes sense on the fact that
It's what-
now people have to clean it up.
It's
It's
what-
like after all this mess and destruction, the people
yeah.
have to clean it up. So now you're seeing the inside of what happens through there.
I talk about this
and
all
it
the
was just,
time.
it's so good.
It's
I-
what
that's
Marvel
why it's
Agents
my
of
number
S.H.I.E.L.D.
2.
should have been. It connects to the movies and brings it to the real
Because they had the
world.
budget, yeah, as well. I think to do that, to have
But-
the freedom.
but-
I know, and even seeing how the Avengers impact the school, like
Yeah.
Captain America's little videos that he
Right?
makes.
Agents of
Yes,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
like
didn't
that.
need a huge budget to do.
Yeah.
Well, not
It was
make
just-
that, but
Yeah.
really well
But to
executed.
have good stories
No.
that revolve
Spider-Man
around
Homecoming.
And my
the actual
favorite
world.
line.
now they went for Inhumans, now they're in space, and it's like,
All right, so
Guys,
my
we need to-
absolute favorite MCU line
Yeah, what's left?
is Tony Stark, and he says, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it at all. And I just thought to myself, that is probably the greatest line. Yeah, have you guys seen that video? It's so good.
what?
We'll show you after. It's a brilliant video.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you.
Oh, it's
later.
my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's it's this thing where that's so true. And it was like, it just felt like he was such a good mentor for Spider-Man, and it's really awesome just to bring him into the
he's
MCU.
like an
It was good.
accidental good mentor, because he says at the end, he's like, I just said that out of like tough love, but it worked out in the end. Like, he's like, you caught the vulture guy.
And number one,
Number one,
of
Guardians.
course, is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow.
By far my favorite. I mean, everything is just
Good choice.
delivered perfectly about that film. And I think what was the
It's an
best thing
exceptional film.
was no one knew about the comics. And everyone's kind of like, what are you doing? They're going crazy, they're going into space, they're doing something.
We got a tree
and
a raccoon.
Yeah, and they're like, what the hell?
And she's
and
green. Going
This
out the door.
comics looks terrible. And then they just made it incredible, and everyone read the comics afterwards.
It's like-
it was just
It's
perfect.
beautiful.
It's like
Yeah.
two stoners
And
like
it's
pitched that movie.
visually
Like,
stunning.
like,
Every
it's a
planet
tree.
is different.
That's
You
right,
get the
yeah.
coordinates too of every planet in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just so good. I felt like I was
You know,
watching.
that was the Easter egg. That was James Gunn's big Easter egg.
Really?
Did you guys? You know how he kept saying there was a one big Easter egg in Guardians of the Galaxy? Those coordinates have like some code, and if you work it out, it spells like it spells something about his mum having cancer from his dad or something.
Oh,
That's like the big
whoa.
Easter
I
egg
did
that
not know
nobody
that.
ever
That's
found out.
dedication.
I am gonna look at that.
wow.
That
Look that
sounds
up.
amazing.
It's
spoiler for two.
It's a spoiler for
Wow.
the second.
So you just said to the editor, I want you to
So he
put
had
this
that.
random...
I can't remember what the words are, so don't quote
had-
me
Yeah,
exactly.
No, I mean,
That's-
like those... Yeah, sorry.
He had that idea. That's insane.
That's very
The
clever.
thing I love about that movie as well is it like kicked up a culture of having to have amazing soundtracks again.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know how everyone's like, fuck, we need to have amazing songs.
I'm torn on that
And
because
so-
some films have taken advantage of it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Suicide
Squad.
But,
But-
like it
Yeah.
definitely
But-
like got everyone flared
yeah,
up and excited
yeah.
about it, which
One of my housekeeping was because you said, I think it was on the other podcast, you were like, Guardians was the first movie that sort of made you think about soundtracks, sort
Yeah.
of thing. I mean, because I've always loved scores, like, you know, like the orchestral stuff, like Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
a good one to think about, or like Star Wars, obviously, you know, and stuff like that. For me, that movie, I think, that made me think about like putting music to stuff was Watchmen, actually. When they
Oh,
put,
right.
when they
Amazing.
put,
Yeah, that's a good film.
Christ, Bob Dylan's like Times Are a Changin' over that beautiful opening montage. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's one of
And,
the
like, that
best
song-
opening scenes in any movie.
And
I
like, and they
could
do it
not
multiple
agree
times with that
more.
film. Like it's that song, it's like Prophecies or something by Pruitt Ego. It's like it's when Dr. Manhattan's
Oh,
like, he's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
tired of these people. I'm tired of getting caught up in the entanglement of their lives. Which I say that to myself whenever I'm like annoyed at work or something like that. Like, and then
It's
like,
my
and just
mantra.
that tune is just so good. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's what makes me just. You want to just edit something to like a song.
But
and
the
it's just
whole
so
movie
good.
is like that because they're like they have a sex scene to I think Hallelujah, and it's like
a sex scene, yeah.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
the song Hallelujah, everybody knows it, but it's so different in that movie, and it's the original one as well. By,
not the
Yeah, I
Shrek
guess
version.
it's not the Shrek version. It's,
version.
it's really like sad and slow and
That's like the one scene I'm like so uncomfortable in. Yeah.
no, but
No,
it's like
it's,
it's cool though. Like
The thing about Guardians of the Galaxy was just everything was perfect. Like
Except the villain.
that was the
villain was
starting
very
point
weak.
for the
Sorry, Matty.
no, I'm just tapping my feet.
no.
Sorry.
No, see, I thought the villain was quite good. It was quite appropriate for them to kind of and it really
Yeah.
brought in It explained a lot about Thanos too, in a really subtle way.
Yeah, I
so
like
he's
that
like,
stuff
okay,
too.
so there's Ronan,
Ronan the Accused.
and
yeah.
then there's Thanos, and you're like, okay, so he's defeating like a bit of an idiot, but it kind of makes sense because he's not the big guy, and he
Yeah.
hates the fact that he's not the big guy.
Yeah, it is just this like. I think it was sort of when people started to realize the trend. It's like the Thor Dark World and then Guardians. It was like, oh, like the villains are just kind of like.
Well, because Malekith was as bad.
It's
if
they're
not
not they're not
worse.
characters. They're just kind of like a plot device. It's like
Yeah.
it's just a thing that they need to stop. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know his like real motivation. You don't care about him.
It's like a MacGuffin almost.
Yeah, it's just like it's like they just need something where the Guardians need to come together. That's
shiny
what that movie's
briefcase.
about.
Yeah.
It was like
It doesn't matter
they have
what
to
it's
come
there
together.
for.
It was good.
You just have
Yeah.
to find
Really
it.
liked it.
And
That's my
how the
top
hell
one.
they got that off the ground too? That's what I just said before. Is like it's like two stoners made up that film. It's like it's a tree. It's just one word. Like it's like you know what I mean? Like
Cheech and Chong produced it.
exactly.
Actually.
Like, and there's a rocket, and his name he's a raccoon as well.
That's probably one of my favorite.
It's
that
fa-
was
it's a
like
f- it's a fantastic
I
film.
remember sitting in the cinemas and just like getting chills all over when Rocket grabs the gun and he's on top of Root
That is- that
in the prison,
is
and
one
he's
of my
like,
favourite
oh,
scenes
yeah, and
in
he's like,
cinema
he's like,
history.
I love
Because
how
the
they-
camera's
so
revolving one
good.
way and they're revolving the other way, and there's bullets going both ways.
Oh, it's so
I think that's
good.
one of my favorite part of the movie is the prison
Chills.
escape
The
sequence.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they release so many bloody clips online. I hate it because I like watched a bunch of them, and it's like I don't do that anymore. But like, it's when he's explaining the plan to them, and he's like, I need a Quarnix battery, and he's like, you need to go distract the god. And
And the
Groot's just in
leg.
the background, and he's like, he reaches up, and he's like, and he just, the animation in that film, and he like pulls it
It's
out, and he's like,
perfect.
and then like, and he's like, and Rocket goes, he like furrows his brow. I didn't even know a raccoon had a brow. And he's like, "Rah," like that, and I was like, what is this? This is on another level.
And Gamora's just
yeah.
like, I'll get the thing, and
And he's
then
like, leg.
and he's just leg.
And also the chemistry is like ecstatic in
It's
this film.
perfect. It's
Yeah.
And it's
so
like,
good.
It's perfect.
I said this to you, it's like whether or not you like Thor Ragnarok or not, these Marvel films are objectively better than the DC films, except for Wonder Woman. Because if you think about Justice League, the CGI is worse. Like, sorry, in the Marvel films, the CGI is better, the effects are better, the music's better, the chemistry's better, the acting's better. Like, whether or not you like the film or it's like an enjoyable film, from it, like objectively, from like a technical level, like all that stuff is like the motion capture's better. Like, it's just like, it just has it's a like I don't know, it just
Seamless,
works. I
yeah.
think
It's a
And I
better
don't wanna-
quality of film.
I don't want to shit on DC too much, like because I think Wonder Woman's better than half these films. To be honest, Wonder Woman's a film to me, whereas like these are still kind of got those a bit of like superhero tropes. I think, but that's like a different story. Cool, Guardians number one.
yeah,
Guardians is
so
a great
that's
film.
my list.
That's fair. I
Don't
mean, Guardians
hate
is one of my
me too
favorite
much.
films of all time.
Yours and mine are actually probably the most apart. I feel like yours is like a sort of amalgamation of Sean's and Felix's a little bit, with some like heavy caveats like Civil War. But no. All right, so real quick, I'm going to shove Thor Ragnarok right into mine because I said to you guys, I love Spider-Man, and I've not liked the fact that Spider-Man is right next to Ant-Man on my list. Because I think
Yeah, that
Spider-Man is far superior than Ant-Man. But it's just a matter of like, if I put Spider-Man
It's a
higher,
big gap,
then I have to
yeah.
put Guardians lower and Civil War and Avengers and stuff like that. And I don't like that. So, easy way to spread them apart is shove Thor right in there. Bam. At number 8, Thor Ragnarok's right there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I might have to see my list
Oh,
because the only version I had was a screenshot from the last episode. Oh, do you know where yours is, mate?
I think for me, Thor Ragnarok is definitely in the bottom half. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
We can
your
have
opinion.
a proper debate one day.
Well, I think
It's
it's
not-
like
yeah.
you need to judge the film on what it is and not what we wanted it to be, which I think I said to you last night. Because it's like we were like,
You did,
"Hey,
yeah.
Marvel, can we get some tension in these films?" And they're like, here's a film with 0 tension." And you're like, "Well, that's not. I mean, because it is. It's a comedy, and there's not tension in comedies, and that's why it's being nominated for best comedy, like in a bunch of like
Yeah,
areas.
right.
Because
Really?
it probably is the best comedy of the year. Because like I laughed so freaking hard in that film,
fucking
and so
good
much,
lines in
and. Like what we talk about with Doctor Strange and like Justice League is like a lot of the comedy doesn't land. I think everything lands in Thor. I just think you just get numb to it. 'Cause
I don't
there
think
is so much of
everything
it.
landed.
Um,
I mean, we can talk.
yeah,
I don't know
I
if you
mean,
want to do
So,
a separate thing.
I'm doing the same thing as you, where Spider-Man and Iron Man 3, I feel like there's a bit of a gap there.
we
So I'm
said
gonna
that to you
bridge
when you
that.
said that. You were like Doctor Strange, Iron Man 3, Spider-Man. Well, like you don't think Spider-Man stands out amongst those two.
Matt,
All right.
if you ask me tomorrow, it'll probably be in a different spot again.
I know.
But yeah, I definitely think that's where it's going to be.
Cool. Did you write it in there? Or?
Yeah, I did for you. There you go.
All right.
You're
So
welcome.
Sean, where you
I'm going to
coming
put
down?
Thor Ragnarok
Oh, get ready. Brace
above
yourself.
Thor and under Ant-Man.
Oh wow, wow.
Isn't it number 4?
So like 14 or something. I might retype this all up again. Like rewrite this down. So that is low.
Giant Blue Podcast 12.
I just-
Sean's last episode.
I just
Fuck
like they did stuff in that film that I just couldn't believe that we'd ever see in this day and age. Just like talking Hulk, like, and the fact it
Yeah.
works, and he has this beautiful chemistry with Valkyrie and Thor, and I'm in love with Valkyrie. I watched Thor again. I'm just like I don't know, something about that character I just like really like how she's just drunk and like I don't know. It's just like a lot of tropes I guess you see with like not that kind of character, and it's just cool to see her and. I don't know, just her chemistry with like all the other characters, like Thor and Mark Ruffalo and Hulk and stuff like that.
On her quick aside, what's her accent?
It's like British, as Guardian.
Yeah, I think it's British.
Yeah.
So it has this teeny.
I can't remember.
Here we
We
go.
looked it up before. She's from like California or something.
Yeah,
I love
that's-
it. I think it's. I don't know. I think she's.
it's
I think
hard
she's.
to, like,
Oh,
I think
I
she's.
might have to look at that.
It was
'cause
hard to
that's
remember.
made me
I mean,
I think she's going
Yeah.
for British.
Call
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
like misogynist. I think she's like incredibly sexy as well. Like, and that doesn't.
Well, she's
that
in that
doesn't hurt.
fucking
But that's the
badass-
character. She
yeah.
is this kind of badass and like, and when she's like, you got till I finish this drink to like tell me everything. And he's like, well, I've come to. Oh, you finished. And like she's so good.
She's cool.
She's a good addition, I think. Yeah. All right. Should we do topics?
Oh shit! You know, so we're
know.
well over an hour at this point.
Jeez.
Well over.
Let's
We're
go
5
longer.
minutes past an hour. Yeah.
Let's-
Why not?
let's go
Yeah,
for
All
it.
right,
Let's
let's
go,
dive
right?
in. I've got some notes. I'm
The
ready.
penultimate one. Cool. Who was I going to throw under the bus first? Ooh. You know what, Felix? You want to go? Did you have one?
Oh, topics. Yeah. I have a topic. So, what time of the year is it, guys?
Christmas.
It's Christmas time, which
Yeah.
means everyone's watching good and bad and really shitty Christmas movies. And it means that Felix has to move his Xbox into the back room if he wants to use the TV, if he wants to do anything.
The girls
the other-
use your phone as a hotspot so they can stream? That doesn't make any sense. You pay for internet.
Yeah, I knew that was a
What?
problem. Yeah, I knew that was a problem. The
That's like
streamer they were
Felix
using
uses
wasn't
the
working.
tap too much, so we have to buy. You buy bottled water for your girlfriend.
I was like,
that's the same principle.
they don't know how the Xbox works, so let's not get into that. But I
Okay.
explained it to them after. I was just too busy doing stuff at the time. Anyway, so they were watching Love Actually. It didn't end up working.
I love that film.
It's
a great film.
incredible. I
It's a
thought I'd watched
great
it and
film.
thought it was shit,
Now-
but I never watched it, and I think it's amazing.
Do you remember? Love
Love Actually is the one where
It's the British one with Hugh
it's
Grant's the Prime Minister, and it's got.
It's the
it's
original
Keira
Big Paris
Knightley.
film.
I'm gonna grab up
Knightley,
a photo of it
Emma-
because
While
Emma
I'm doing
Thompson.
that,
terrible names.
so they started watching it. They didn't get to the end of it because the internet wasn't working or the
Hmm.
streaming service wasn't working, whatever. So we watched it the following night, and I was sitting there, and then like the first 5 minutes when they introduce all the characters,
Yeah.
it's a massive ensemble movie.
Just see that in my notes.
In the first 5 minutes, they introduced Liam Neeson, which I'd never seen the movie before. I didn't know he was in it. And then I saw Liam Neeson in this like kind of comedy romance movie, and I was like, "Wait, I thought you were only a character who loses his daughter all the time."
Yeah.
And
He's cute in that
I don't
film.
have
too.
money.
he's
He's
got
really
the
good
little
in that
kid
film.
fin, and
And
he's,
on top of that,
I know it's Christmas
yes,
time.
I know where we're
I
at.
forgot.
Yeah.
you do it pretty well.
I know it's Christmas time, but I'll find you. Santa Claus
On
has
top of
come.
that as well.
He's been taken.
Stop it, sorry.
Oh, God. I would watch that though.
On top of that, I can't remember the actor's name.
Okay,
You
I'll
guys
need
will
it
know it
for
straight
my
away. Severus Snape was in it.
Alan
It took me a while.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
It took me a really long time to figure out that it was him, but I was like, he seems so familiar.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him as well.
If I watch that film
He was
again,
such a
I'm gonna realize
gorgeous
how many
character in
mannerisms
it.
I've probably taken from that character. There's like a thing where he's like in a meeting and then he's like not doing it anymore. He's like, and he just like walks on. I'm like, you're such a sassy like 50-year-old.
Yeah, just the way that he interacts with people is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
He's
yeah.
good. He's good in that film. They're
So-
all
He's like-
so good
he's
in
like,
that film.
So you guys know that I love ensemble films. I mean, like the top 4 that I've
Guardians,
got. are all-
Galaxy, Avengers.
Guardians.
Are we
So-
gonna rank Christmas movies?
No, I'm not gonna make you do that. 'Cause that's fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna give you a much simpler question. What is the biggest surprise actor you've had in an ensemble film that you've seen?
Oh.
Because I was really taken back by Liam Neeson in Love Actually.
That's
I
such a
didn't
weird
expect to see
question.
that.
Yeah.
That,
It is
well, that
very
was
specific.
that,
Very
'cause that
weird
was
question.
before Liam Neeson went down that action hole route. Like he did kind of that more like, I don't know, lame's not the right word.
That-
But you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he sort of like he was like kind of like he's just like a character, I guess. And then he did Taken, and then I feel like that's all he does now is like action
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
The
all I knew
aging
him for
action,
before I'd
like the
seen-
retired like action hero.
Okay, so I don't really look at actors and stuff when I don't know. I don't know that many actors, but you know,
quickly check
like
the
when I see a
cameras. You guys
photo, I'm
talk
like, oh
amongst
yeah, I know who
yourselves.
that is. He's been in this, and this.
Yeah, we should
But
get more water. Too.
the film, probably the only film that I've actually ever seen that was Is it good?
Yeah. He's just checking to make sure it's all good.
Oh, okay.
But it's fine. Hang in there.
Wait, do I? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you're all good.
So the thing I probably most saw that was This Is the End, and
Yes.
that was
never
probably
even thought of that as
that
an
was
ensemble
my
film,
film,
but I guess it
because
is, yeah.
there's like so many. There was the guy off Scott Pilgrim, who gets killed by
Michael
the
Cera?
yes, he gets
Yeah.
killed by the thing, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening?
But
and
the
then
biggest
Emma
surprise-
and then Emma Watson
Emma
comes
Watson
in,
in this-
and she's
yeah.
like this, like she's got like a thing. She's like, get away from me.
No one saw that coming.
No
I mean,
one
that's
saw
what I'm
that.
talking
I
about. The
thought
surprises
that was
are like,
probably-
oh shit, that's
So-
awesome.
That's
For
great.
someone,
That's
for
like a cameo,
someone
though, I
who
guess.
doesn't
Yeah, well,
really
that's a
look
good
at the
point.
whole
Well, I mean,
ensemble team
these big
and
ensemble
stuff,
movies, everyone's basically
that's
got
the
that.
film I looked at the most because I was really shocked that there were just going to be that many actors, and I thought it was just going to be like
What are some
no,
other
random
ensemble
people running
films?
around,
I
but
don't
it was
like that.
solely
Yeah, there's
celebrities.
So when I say ensemble, I'm kind of saying the ones that have like upwards of 10 people in them.
Right.
More than
So so the clear ones like
More than two.
Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve and stuff like that,
haven't
where they
seen
literally
them.
get. You haven't
Yeah.
seen them?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're shit.
I've only seen
They're
Love
so
Actually. Yeah.
They're right.
They're all
I mean,
like,
like,
Was
they're
it
all
when-
like, hey,
okay,
do you remember
wait,
Love
wait,
Actually?
wait,
Do you remember Love Actually? Do you remember Love Actually?
They are like that.
Whichever
They are like
one
that.
had Taylor and Taylor back when they
Yeah,
were
that was
dating.
weird. That was Valentine's
Taylor's
Day.
T Swift and
Oh.
what's
Taylor
his
Lautner.
face? Taylor Lautner. And they
That
were like,
I was actually-
they were
That's
dating.
Valentine's
and
Day. Yeah, that must
That
have been
was
Valentine's
Valentine's
Day.
I've just, for whatever reason, seen that part of Valentine's Day.
There's shitloads. I
And I
wrote
was
them
like-
down.
New Year's
They're on my
Eve, Zac
phone,
Efron
though.
makes out with a chick who's like 40 years older than him. He like helps her get all of her like not bucket list, but she's got like a list of things she
Yeah,
wanted to do that
yeah.
year.
That's
And on New
Ashton
Year's
Kutcher?
Eve, no, it's Zac Efron.
Zac- you're
And
right,
they
right,
do
right.
all of them, and then the last one's like kiss someone at midnight. It's kind of cute. It's kind of weird because he like makes out with her, and she's like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "I was helping you with the list."
Yeah.
That's not my answer. It was just kind of.
Yeah. My brain
It's
went,
kind of a sweet moment.
I guess the point, like out of the question, my head jumped on the part of it that was like casting choices.
Yeah.
And so like, it's not an ensemble film, but I remember my brain just immediately went to like the Heath Ledger Joker. Because I remember when that got announced, like there was such a ruckus, and I remember being like, "What? That's so stupid!" And like he was like the best part of it. But that's not really like super ensemble.
Some other
I mean-
ones to kind of jog your memory. There's like Magnificent Seven and Hateful Eight. I kind of consider them as like a.
Wait,
Yeah,
they bring
I-
together.
Channing Tatum's in Hateful
They bring
Eight,
together a
yeah.
lot of different people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Hateful Eight's pretty cool.
yeah, right. Okay.
So
A lot of Hateful Eight is Tarantino, like the All Stars. You know, what I mean? It's like
I
people
feel
he's
like
had
that's
before.
pretty standard Tarantino. Yeah.
Yeah, except for Channing Tatum's in it, and then even Jonah Hill is in Django in that one scene.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of stuff. They just get like, he does that. It's like it's during the scene where
wonder how they
it's
got
when they're
on, you
complaining
know?
about the bags or whatever, and he's like,
Yeah,
I can't
for
see
the-
out of this thing. He's like, look, guys, my wife stayed up all night making you
Yeah,
bags,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, it's
It's
just
quite
like, it's such
funny.
a stupid scene. Yeah.
So that's interesting though. Like with this like, you know, ensemble films. Are we just talking about ones where there's like 12 to 20 actors, like with very brief?
Go crazy with it, Sean.
But like
I didn't
one
think
like
it
the
through.
Hateful Eight or the Magnificent Seven, I wouldn't have even thought of that as a ensemble. I don't know if that's just me.
I'd consider them ensemble because they've got a shitload of different characters, like different
Yeah.
actors pulled from different places. So like, I've forgotten which one it was of those two, but the guy from all the Law and Order SVUs, Wolf, can't remember what his name, Vincent something.
Right, Vincent D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio?
Yes, that's him.
Okay.
How he was. Which one was that?
He's Kingpin.
Not what?
Vincent
not
D'Onofrio
in-
plays
Not
the Kingpin.
in.
In
yeah,
Magnificent
Yeah, he is
Seven.
Kingpin though. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of
And
the.
he's like
yeah.
the silent dude, the big bear
As-
guy.
Sorry,
that's
as in
like
the new Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, the remake
The new
Okay,
one, yeah,
with
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Pratt.
the
I've
ones
not
we've
It's
seen.
Chris Pratt,
I've
right?
not seen that one. I've only
I
seen
No,
get
I
it.
haven't seen it.
I've only
so-
seen like the
Seven,
one
Hateful
from the
Eight.
60s.
They're both
or whatever.
amazing, but I can't remember which characters were in which very
The
easily.
Hateful Eight is a Tarantino one in the room. It's like a single room. With
Yeah, it's like a
Samuel
pub.
L.
That
Jackson.
one's got Chris
I-
Pratt in it then, yes.
What? No.
Yeah?
No.
I think it's Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum's in that one.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Um,
I am. Denzel Washington is the Magnificent Seven.
yeah.
With Chris Pratt
With Chris Pratt.
and Vincent D'Onofrio.
I'm not going to check my computer. I'm 100% right.
All right.
You're so confident.
You know what's funny? 'Cause
Anyway,
we were talking-
any other interesting casting choices?
yeah.
Well, I was
Iona's
going to
got-
say
Iona's got a
Dave
point.
Bautista in Guardians.
That's a good
Yeah.
choice. That's a good.
That's
yeah.
the best I can think of off the top of my head because he was like, he's done acting before, but he was a
arguably
wrestler.
the best part of that film. He has some of the best
Yeah, he
lines.
does. He really does.
Maybe not the best part of the film, but he does
was
have some of the best
surprising.
But
lines.
since then, that's like revitalized his acting career if he had one before. Because he's been in heaps of stuff.
I
He's
think
in the
he
new
was
Blade
like-
Runner. He's in James Bond.
I
He's
think he
in
was
like.
inspired by The Rock. Like I think he was like, I want to do like what The Rock did. And, like,
Yeah, but he's
he
done it
got
like as.
Guardians.
He's done it so well.
And he probably he said like he cried when he got the role. He was just so happy. He was like, "Really, you guys want me?" And he has that one of the best
That is
lines where he's
cool.
like, "His race is entirely literal. It'll go over his head." He's like,
Nothing
"Nothing
will
goes
go
over
over my head."
He's
The
like,
best
I would,
line.
he's
My
like, I would
reflexes are
catch
too
you.
fast.
Yeah, because
I
he
will
was
catch it.
originally a wrestle
wrestler.
player.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that was.
There's actually
awesome
quite a
to
few of them that
actually
have done it.
see.
Even John Cena was in like some weird YouTube videos. He
was
did
in
like
some weird
12
stuff.
rounds or
Does
something.
that count? John Cena in Trainwreck is fucking amazing.
Oh,
John
yeah,
Cena's so good in that
it's
film.
like- Count as an ensemble film.
Yeah.
He's like, Mark Wahlberg's 120 pounds. I'm 220 lean. I'm Mark Wahlberg who ate Mark Wahlberg or something like that. He just is so bizarre, but it's so like.
Speaking of Mark Wahlberg, he's in Daddy's Home 1, I think. I'm pretty sure at the end.
Well, he's one of the main.
Daddy's Home. The movie.
Daddy's Home. Sorry,
Mark Wahlberg and
I'm hearing
Will
everything
Ferrell.
at like 20% extra volume.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No, that's right.
So
Yeah.
you had a point you wanted to make.
Yeah, sorry.
No, mine was honestly, this is the end.
Oh yeah.
That was like.
I think that's great though, because I wouldn't have thought of Emma Watson.
I didn't know, but I didn't even really think about having.
Actually, here's another one from that movie: Channing Tatum.
Yes, and
He's the Gimp. He's the Gimp.
He does this because I'm like, he's like,
what I mean?
as a joke, he's like, oh,
He
this is
goes,
Channing Tatum. I'm like, yeah, but then he does the
Yeah,
mask,
that
and
was-
it is,
that
and
was
you're like,
wild.
what? That was my favorite thing.
I feel like
about,
Jonah Hill just like dared him to do it or something.
I'm like in the minority. Like I don't like that.
No, it's like not a good film. It's
Yeah,
like
it's-
ridiculous,
like,
and
pe-
there's
yeah.
It's
the
kind of
funny
bizarre,
moments
it's
are
crazy.
well like out of proportion with the
It's-
stupid moments.
Yeah, it's quite stupid, but I think what
It's
makes
entertaining.
it makes
Is
it
it
really
Danny
good
McBride
is that
who does all the
just the
weird-
amount of actors that were like, yeah, all right, we'll come on, and it's like set in LA during the end of times, and it's just all the celebrities are like, the helicopters will come to us first, and it's like, is that really how they think?
so-
It's just
I
really
like the
good.
concept.
I like
of it.
Sam, I like the
Yeah,
concept. I think
good
the film was just
concept.
like too crude for me.
Yeah, it's like the concept of it was like so
Yeah.
cool, and watching the trailer, I was like, can't wait for this film. And then I got like 40 minutes in, and someone gets raped by a demon, and Jonah Hill's like screaming, and then there's like giant demon penises everywhere, and I was like, I should have expected this. You know, looking at the cast, I'm like, I was forewarned. It's Seth Rogen. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I asked for this.
What was I gonna say? That
It does rely on the apocalypse a lot.
That reminded me of a great one that I'll say in a second, because like that's like an offshoot of this question. Is just like those funny cameos almost sort of thing. Like, but going back to Marvel, like because I know the first one is an ensemble, but he is in ensembles later. Is Captain America, like Chris Evans. Like I thought that was such an odd casting choice. I was like that guy, because like all he'd done up to that point was like he played the douche bro. Like in Fantastic Four, like he's like a douche,
and
then he does like all
weird
those
romantic
teen movies.
comedies.
He does all these like
yeah,
dumb teen movies
yeah.
where he's like the buff jock or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, really, for Captain America? And I remember seeing one comment that was like, "Go watch Sunshine. He is like really tremendous in Sunshine." And I was like, okay. And I watched Sunshine, and I was like, oh wow.
Is that the space one?
Yeah, it's where they go.
It's
to,
like
they
written
go,
by
like,
Alex
it's
Garland,
like our
I
son's
think.
dying, and so then we get all this material because we're gonna go
A payload, yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
go restart the sun. Like, but essentially, you got to throw like a nuclear payload
Yeah.
at it, and so it's a one-way mission. And Chris Evans just plays this dry, logical character. Like they're like, "Oh my God, so and so's like trapped outside. We need to save him." Chris Evans is like, "No, that'll jeopardize the mission." And then it's like, "Oh shit!" Like he's just like he's really calculating. And I was like, I just never seen that performance from him.
need to rewatch that
So when I watched it, I was like, "Oh wow!" And so I was
I've
like,
never seen it.
I'm keen to see how he does Cap, and he nails it.
He
He's tremendous.
does nail it, and he's so much more true to the character than, like, just to go back to a point, than Chris Hemsworth is in the new Thor. Because Thor 1, he's like this Shakespearean, like noble sort of prince,
I think they
and
did a
even
good
in
job on
Avengers.
Now he's trying to be quippy and
yeah, and
he's trying to be
it
Iron
lost
Man,
me.
but,
Like
yeah.
it was like kind of funny, and I get that it's his progression having met the Avengers, but I was like, it's lost me because I think
All
he's
right, Sunshine.
untrue to the.
Okay.
I want to watch it
character.
again now.
Well, I have a great
Yeah.
one that I just thought of when you mentioned this is the end. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that film.
What?
Oh, as the bald dude.
You didn't know who it was the whole movie.
Yeah.
He was so disguised.
Holy
he was
shit.
bald and fat, and you're like the whole movie. You're like, who? He looks so familiar. And then at the end, he's doing that weird dance, that song. It's like, get back, motherfucker! You don't know me like that. And he's like dancing, and then it was like Tom Cruise. You're like, oh my god, it is Tom Cruise! Like that was insane.
Oh, that's another one.
and he has
21
those great
Jump
lines where he's like
Street.
screaming at the terrorists. He's like, I will fucking end you. I will end you. Yeah, like he's just like
It's a funny film.
It's just like I didn't know Tom Cruise was capable of that. And it's like it just shows like what happens when
good.
like you disguise him and just go nuts. Just
Yeah.
go. It's like I love that kind of stuff. Like,
That's another one that was a bit of a shock. Was Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street? Because
yeah.
there was actually a TV show about
he
it,
was,
yeah.
and
that
he
character.
was,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
both
yeah.
of
Dead-
them were the detectives, and then he was like,
was
"Oh,
kind of- that
what
was
are you
nice,
doing?"
yeah,
that was really good. So that was
well,
Yeah.
was
a
good.
bad casting choice is Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts. Like
Yeah.
that movie, because I'd already
yeah.
I'd sort of even before the Amber Heard stuff, I was just kind of like I'm checked out of Johnny Depp. I was like I don't want to support him anymore. I just don't like what he's doing. The last like 5 films, I'm like, I don't care. He's just Johnny Depp being eccentric and annoying, and I don't care. And the fact that they hid that, I felt dirty because it was like, oh great, I'm supporting Johnny Depp, and I feel like I was tricked into doing it because I didn't know he was in this film. And I was like, if I knew he was in this film, might not have seen. I probably would have still seen it, but I would have thought about it long and hard. And like, but it was. I just felt because it was like I paid for this film, and I was like excited, and then he showed up, and I was like, I didn't know I was watching that bloody Johnny Depp film.
I want my money back.
Yeah, it was like, make sure none of my ticket money goes towards him. Give it to
See,
Eddie
I don't
Redmayne.
have that much hate, but
Well,
I do think I'm a bit
yeah.
over him. I'm
just over him. And like, the Amber Heard stuff then came out, and it was just like, he just doesn't seem like the great dude. And it's like, and he just has this weird hold on Hollywood. Like, he's got Fantastic Beasts. He was going to be part of that dark universe. Or like, good, you've got Johnny Depp, and everyone was like, we don't care. And he was going to be in something else. That else came out. I don't know.
He's in heaps of stuff.
Well, Pirates is like still going strong. Like Pirates 5 came out this year, and I don't know. I was like, I don't care anymore.
I found out the other day that not even like that he doesn't watch his own movies.
There's a lot of actors that do that.
I feel like that's common, yeah.
Okay, is that common?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
think
I was
so.
like,
I
even
think-
he thinks they're bad.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's common, like, because they probably watch them. Most actors, I think, would watch it once because they go to the premiere.
I think it's
But
also
it would be weird to watch yourself.
yeah,
I think.
because they edit you as well, so you never know how it's going to be in the finished product,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, you spend like a year on
Yeah, of
production,
course,
on
you
set,
don't-
and you're
yeah.
filming, and you just don't know what's going to be there
Yeah.
and what's not.
It probably is like, yeah,
Yeah, you just have to hope for the best as an actor, I guess.
Yeah.
They make you look good,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
cut you in
Yes.
well, yeah, make you sound good.
I'm trying to think of like other like crazy cameos like that. I can't really think of much.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there's like a lot of animated stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's like some character that you
Yeah.
like, and then at the end you're like, "What? It was voiced by him?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like Eddie Izzard in some. I can't remember what it was. Like, I was like, "What?" Like, it's so cool.
It
Yeah.
is. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's it. Let's not drag it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. All right.
All right. Iona, do you want to go next? Or would you like to go next?
Yeah, okay, I'll go next. Look, mine's quite straightforward. So we've all seen Incredibles 2.
Oh.
Teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, teaser Look, because it's expected to be
Sorry,
in
I'm okay.
cinemas on the 14th of June next year. So around
Yeah.
the 14th, 19th. Should you have high expectations for it?
I can't
After
help it.
waiting 15 years for this, should we all have a high expectations? That's
How long?
It's been around 15 years before
No, it was 2004.
4.
Yeah.
Wait, is
Oh,
that
so yeah,
14?
13.
I'm like,
14, yeah,
I'm
you're
like
right,
Sean. I can see my expectation go like, hoo. I'm like, no, just don't go
Yeah,
that high, please.
because-
It's like it's gonna be the best thing ever. And I'm like, oh great, now I'm gonna hate it. You know what I mean?
Look,
It's like
it's
gonna
alright,
be good.
so
I'm like, yeah, of course it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. I'm like, oh,
so the plot for it
Here
so
we go.
is
yeah, here we go.
Bob, Mr. Incredible, is left to care for Jack, while Helen, that's where I was getting confused,
Ah.
Helen,
Helen got us
Elastic
some
Girl,
Incredibles, yeah.
is out there saving the world.
Yeah, I like that.
So
'cause it's kind
I
of a
like
flip on the
that
first.
because
Yeah.
that introduces that you can explore
Elastic Girl.
so much with just the family and kind of that really hilarious moment of when they're all at the dinner table and they just couldn't have a normal dinner. It was like a normal family, but at the same time they were running around the like force field and stuff,
That's-
fighting. And it
I
was
always
just
say that's the
fantastic.
best part about
yeah, we
superhero
talk about
films.
it. It's when they do the
When they're
human
real.
stuff. Yeah, like I
human
remember.
stuff.
And the fact
Yeah.
that they're
Every
going to
superhero
explore
film.
that
Lifting up
more
the
in
couch
depth
to,
is
like,
going to be
vacuum
really
it.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Because you just want that. You just want to have those powers in your mundane life kind of thing. It's why I say I want the Force just to turn light switches off.
And another thing is everyone's back. So all the voice actors that, because usually, after 15 years, someone would have died or something.
Well,
but,
Dash is different. I
yeah,
believe,
that's the
because
only
the kid's
character.
Like 30 now.
Yeah, everyone else is different, but Dash is the only one because he was actually a boy when he did the voice acting for it. So of course,
Yeah.
now that he's older, he
Oh, sorry.
obviously
I was
doesn't
like, is
sound
he?
like
Did,
that.
I was like, oh, did he?
But they
get a sex
brought
change,
someone
but
else
he's a
in
man now,
who
sorry, yeah.
hasn't been in anything. That's the really good thing. So he hasn't been in anything. So they've obviously really stuck to the whole voice and what sounds like Dash. But I just don't know. I'm really scared for it to come out because I've waited.
And
my
Brad
whole
Bird
childhood.
hasn't done much good in the last few
How
years.
dare you, sir?
What Tomorrowland? What else? Did
I
you do?
really like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol a lot.
Yeah, I feel like you've overrated that a little bit. They're not like none of them are. I mean, the first one was kind of like the classic like heist, I guess, when they're dropping into lasers. But
That's why I don't give a shit about Mission Impossible. I just think that movie's tremendous. Him running through the sandstorm,
I don't
the
remember
way
it being
he climbs
tremendous.
the building. Basically they said that's the only reason I went to see that film was because of Brad Bird, and they were like his style. Because in animation, you can put the camera fucking anywhere you want. There's no rig, there's no crane. You don't have to worry about logistics. You're like
You just
cameras
animate
can
it.
do whatever. Yeah, like, and they said his style, like in animation, like bleeds into the live action. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna see this, and he does. Like the camera is like inside the building, and then Tom Cruise puts on his little sticky gloves on the big tower in India, and he goes outside, and the camera literally goes round and out like that, and you see the behind the scenes. They have this huge ass crane that's like got 60 points of articulation or whatever, like, and it's like, I think it's just a.
Right.
I think it's a
what else?
solid
What
action
else
film.
has he done though? Like,
Well, he did Ratatouille, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but
don't
people
think
like that
anyone-
movie. No,
yeah.
people like
Wait,
that movie.
Ratatouille?
He did Incredibles, and then they were like, "Hey, it was so good working with you. Let's do another movie with you." So they did Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is the shit for
Oh,
me.
really? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That got me into vegetables, people. So, not kidding. Because he's cooking. I hated vegetables, and then I watched that film, and he was like cooking, and it looked
that is
amazing.
the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It looked amazing, so I ate vegetables.
It's like James and the Giant Peach. Oh man, I love peaches after that movie. Yeah. something
No,
like
it's-
that.
I love Ratatouille. It was good.
It's why I'm not dead and I eat vegetables. Yeah.
But I never ate vegetables till I saw rats in food, and now I just can't get enough of it. I have no
It's all
words
just a
to
big
describe
ploy.
how
He's cooking
out of
and it
left
looks
field that
Can
fantastic.
we
was.
watch Ratatouille after this?
Yes.
I need some vegetables, guys.
I like the idea that some vegetable company has commissioned Brad Pitt to make Ratatouille to convince Iona to eat vegetables.
It was actually Iona's mum that convinced Brad Bird to make that film.
It is. It's like, how do I get this kid to eat vegetables? And it's like,
I know.
hello,
Make a
Pixar.
movie.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's
No, anyway,
brilliant.
I loved
That's-
Ratatouille. It was
Incredibles.
fantastic. And it was really quirky too. It was very different.
I've been meaning to watch it again. I remember when I was like a snooty little fucking kid. I was like, to me, it felt like they'd been on this high streak, and then Ratatouille was like the first movie where it was kind of like, that wasn't like as good as the other one, sort of thing.
I may not
was
have ever
Cars
seen it.
first? Fuck, I can't remember.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I
Was-
just thought everybody was.
Was it
kind
Cars then Ratatouille?
of whatever, but you love
Yeah.
it.
Cars
so that's
was
great.
03?
I'm sure there's good elements. It just
Veggie
oh
Tales
wait,
got me into
wait.
vegetables.
Sorry, I just remembered why I don't
Veggie
like that
Towers.
film.
Veggie
I just remembered why I don't like that film because I never like animals interacting with people, and I always thought Pixar were better than
It
this.
is weird,
I was
yeah.
like, Pixar, you're better than this. Because they did that with the dog and Up. It wasn't the dog being like, hey, let's go find everyone. It was like really clever. He had the collar that projected his thoughts. And I was like, that's so brilliant. And they said that they were like, this isn't a talking dog. This is like Pixar's take on a talking dog. But then Ratatouille is literally like, you understand me? And he's like, uh-huh. And I was like, fucking hell, Pixar. Really? And then he controls him with the hair. Come on.
That's weird.
That was a dumb concept. But
It is
I
I should be able
loved
to
it.
push past that and then enjoy the film. Because I think there is good elements in that film, yeah.
Yeah, well,
How
I
did we
did.
get onto Ratatouille? Oh,
Brad
'cause
Bird.
Brad Bird.
Yeah. So,
Alright.
should we have high expectations for the new Incredibles 2? Because
Yes.
I do.
But
I've
keep
been
them
waiting
in,
so
but,
long.
But don't
It
let them
better
get
be
out of
good.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah, put them.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
can't
Is like,
help it.
it's crazy that you can't
Yeah.
help it. The trailer, it's like, you have powers. And I was like, no, you can't just follow on like a minute after Incredibles 1, like as if nothing's happened. I was
That's
like,
what they
the film
I
didn't
think
come
that's
out. The
what
film
they're
didn't
gonna
come out
do.
in 2015. The film came out in 2005. It's been 12 years. I'm a man now. Like you can't just act like nothing's changed, and they are. They're just like it just happened. I'm like, oh my god. And Brad Bird was like, I read some quote. He was like, we wanted to make Incredibles 2, but Disney was like, no, make originals. I'm like, bull fucking shit. You like, I don't believe that for a second. But or maybe there's some truth. Maybe they wanted Pixar to do originals. I don't know. The other film Brad Bird did anybody see Tomorrowland?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like all those
I
little
don't like
discs.
it.
Discs? Oh.
The little pennies that
Yeah,
they use or
they
something
hold
like
them
that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she goes, I didn't like it. It was,
was
a bit
pretty, like-
nif-naff for me.
Lackluster, yeah.
It's not good. You can say
It was pretty shallow. It was pretty though.
It's pretty forgettable, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
forgettable
kind of
is probably the word
But
I
I
put
can't
that
actually
into.
remember the plot
And
at
George
all.
Yeah,
Clooney as well.
forgettable.
It was
I
just
like
so,
George
like-
Clooney a lot.
In that film, though, it was kind of.
He was just, I mean, he
he's
was just
okay.
kind of, he was just George
kind of
Clooney, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't connect at all.
I feel
to
like
that.
a lot of the big actors are that though. Like Leo's Leo, kind of. He's just either a bit more dramatic or a bit more like this or that. You know, it's like it's the actor, and then each character is just like, oh, he's a little bit more angry. Or it's like an angrier
it's
version
like Johnny
of Leo.
Depp. Oh, he's a
or like
crazy
Tom
character
Hanks. Like
again.
Tom Hanks is just Tom Hanks. But you
Yeah.
love him. You love him so much. And Jack Nicholson's just Jack Nicholson, but he's great. Like,
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
but
Can't
Jeff
argue
Goldblum.
that.
I mean, Thor. Like I was like, I love him, but I'm like, it is just Jeff Goldblum.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
But he's like, he's DJing in one part. He wears thongs and he's just so good. Oh my god. Speaking of that, the Jurassic World 2 trailer fucking sucks. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I haven't even watched the trailer. I'm not
looks
even
like
After
that
watching
bothered.
that video
Right.
essay that you sent, I think you sent me
Yeah.
from that same girl, where they pick apart the
The lead
the
girl.
lead girl.
Oh,
yeah.
it's
and they were
not.
saying,
It's not Lindsay Ellis. No, that was
was
just a
it?
different YouTuber.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I watched that one though.
I remember really enjoying Jurassic World, but after watching this little essay that he sent me, I'm like, damn it,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
like this
I'll
movie.
link it
And
to
then
you.
I saw the
Yeah.
ad for it as well, and I'm like, yeah, they're gonna do the same thing where she's like like a
Yeah.
powerful female
Well,
character.
I'll
but
link it to you. Anyway.
She's still
They
not
said
a
they
good
were like,
person.
oh, like the chick is like.
Yeah.
They were like the female Bryce Dallas Howard's character she's like this symbol of her feminism, but it's like one of the final lines in that movie is her turning to Chris Pratt going, "What do we do now?" to like to a man, and it's like really
Just
that's
making
your
all the
symbol
wrong
of
decisions
feminism
throughout the film
Yeah,
as well.
Like
Like,
the
he
high
doesn't-
heel things, no one's gotten over that because it's so dumb. She wears high heels. Like,
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
think she goes
running
through a
away from a
visual journey
T-Rex.
though, because she is very like proper and suited up, you know, and she's very like telling other people to go do things. But by the end of the film, she's like ripped up and grimy and sweaty and bloody, and she's like,
Very
"I'm gonna go
nice.
get the T-Rex." I'm like, okay, that's a bit of an arc. It's like kind of like.
I
I'll
didn't
give
think it
them
was
a little
that
bit.
great a film.
No,
I didn't
I think
think
it's.
so either.
I think honestly, it's just because we haven't seen dinosaurs in a long time. That's what I was excited about.
Yeah,
I was
'cause
like,
it was
I was
like-
like,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
was the last dinosaur film? And
It was like the
oh,
highest
man.
grossing film ever for I think a year
yeah.
or two, like until maybe Civil War. I don't know, whatever it was.
I'd love to.
But I
fact check.
remember watching though Jurassic World and coming out of it, and I was like, what, like the bigger dinosaurs, and then the bigger dinosaurs, and then like you know the kill switch that they have like breaks, and it's like, well, of course it breaks, or else there wouldn't be a film. It's,
Yeah.
okay,
Going
I
back,
guess.
Anyway,
Going back to Incredibles 2, I was going to say, I think they might do a time jump, you know what I mean? I think they might follow directly on, and then maybe they'll skip forward a couple of years. Perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, like, Jack a bit older, maybe, and Dash is maybe, like,
I
a bit more of
hope
a
they do
teenager.
that, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, maybe
That's kind of where my high expectations kind of
Yeah.
drop in that sense. I think they're going to keep it easy.
I think they
want it to be
might
good.
time jump.
It's-
Like
I don't know.
a year
I
or two.
would. That's why
I
I'd
reckon a
like
year or
to
two.
more than
Yeah.
nothing to
That's
see.
such a
but
good way to end The Incredibles, wasn't it? Where like they've just beaten a bad guy, and then the mole people come out. We've been beneath you, and now you'll be beneath. It's just such a good way.
that
to
was
end
the
a
thing.
movie.
My
like
friend-
they're literally
yeah.
like, our next movie is going to start from
Nothing
exactly
is
this point.
beneath me.
Yeah, well, my
Now
friend
that's
was
what it
like,
is, yeah.
"Oh, that's cool. He's going to be the villain in the second one." I'm like, "No." I was like, "That's so dumb. You don't start the
Yeah.
end film with that. You don't introduce a villain in the end and then
Yeah.
start with that. I was like, you can't do that. It makes no narrative sense." And then like Pixar, 15 years later, are like, "Yeah, Underminer is the villain." I'm like, "God damn it, I don't understand."
You know what
I'm
nobody's...
the Underminer. I can't do the voice. The John Ratzenberger.
The John Ratzenberg.
Yeah.
I was just going to say.
I-
no
wait,
one's
oh,
talked
it's just
about
him.
that because if
I don't
he
want
is,
to wait.
is he going to be the main? Is he going to do the voice of it still? John
I can't-
Ratzenberg
He's
is
still alive.
but he's like not done.
I don't want to alarm anybody, but they're here. No, damn it, that's fine. I can't do it. I did it good the other time.
Like Elmo or something. No, Elmo.
I
Kermit the
don't want to
Frog.
alarm anybody, but they're here. I can't do it.
That's not bad.
My voice is tight. I can't. Yeah, I need to practice it.
That's
Should we jump
Toy Story,
onto
hey.
a
Yeah,
next topic?
I guess I have like a little bit of hesitation just because I didn't like Finding Dory.
Yeah,
That
look,
was
Finding
again like
Dory
Force
was,
Awakens. It's just
of
like
course,
it's like
not
references.
an
It's finding references. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like
Incredibles
This is exactly
2
the
won't be
same.
like that.
I think
Better
they'll-
not be.
Yeah.
They're not.
That's my thing.
Hopefully
Sure.
they've learned their lesson.
Man,
And
Dory.
Well, because
Oh.
that was what was the gap between Finding Nemo and Finding Dory? That was like 12 years or
9
something.
years or something. Or
Yeah,
11
it was
years.
a long bloody time.
Because I mean, Toy Story 2 and 3 was like 8 years or something like that. I think Toy Story 2 was 1999 and Toy Story 3 was 2010.
They did a good job with that one.
They that's a good point. Toy Story 3 is
Oh, Toy
Story
Story
3
3
is-
is good.
that's-
That's a movie I've cried
Oh,
in
that's-
for
yeah.
every time.
you're telling me.
Every
That film
time.
broke me. Yeah, as we've discussed on the podcast. Yeah, that film. I just hear the music and like I
First time
start.
Jack ever
like,
cried.
Yeah, that film was just like.
From one of the previous podcasts, one of my favorite little like 2 seconds is like, "You will cry forever, bitch."
Yeah.
It's me saying it.
I was like, I went into the film like, I have never cried. never. And then like that film was like.
I love that whole topic in that podcast
Yeah.
because you were just like, I've never cried. Let me finish. And I'm
You were
already
like-
like, I'm like, yes, you cry all the time.
And I was like, well, now I do because Toy Story broke something in me, and I was like, I never knew what pain was like. And now I just like see like a. I on that shoot, like we went to one of the models' houses just for part of the shoot, and her dog was like had 3 legs, and I was like, like
Hey,
anything.
I cried in the trailer for Wonder, okay? So I'm as bad as you are.
Yeah, I gotta watch
I don't
that
know
now.
what broke me.
Give me that
Yeah.
pen.
Oh, sorry, because I keep playing with it.
The
Yeah.
tree's gonna-
I'd usually write notes on my
All right.
computer, but
Do we want to move on?
Yeah.
Sure.
I might move on to my topic then.
Okay.
Which I didn't even plan this, but we've done a nice little like circle now. So, because we're doing the nominations for movie, game, and TV show of the year next year, I wanted to take a little look back at 2016 and sort of what our favorite kind of films, TV shows, and games of the year from that year. Now, we talked on the Gamecast. Overwatch was our game of the year.
Yeah.
Did you?
I want to.
Now I've never played Overwatch, but everyone around me does,
Yeah.
and they love it. And I
check
I
my
watched the
movie.
animation part of it. It's probably
Yeah.
by far the most
They're doing a really good
thought
job with that.
out game I have ever seen in my life. It
That's
is
pleasant.
all connected, and it is really clever.
Yeah.
So I look at it from someone who's never played it, but I really do appreciate it.
Well, did
as
you
a
play
game.
something that you think is the game of the year? Did you play
No, I
anything?
don't really play much video games because I don't have any consoles at home,
Oh,
and
okay.
No iPhone games or anything you want to shout out?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was like Overwatch clearly, and I was like looking at like sort of
still
games from
a
that
lot of
year, and
good
I was like, ooh, Inside is very good, and so is Uncharted 4. But
I fell in love with
I'm
Mad
pumped.
Max for a couple of months there
I
as well.
believe
Is
that was
that
20.
movie-
I believe that was 2015.
Oh.
Movie video game.
I believe
We're not
Mad
talking
Max the
movies
movie
yet.
was 2014.
That's 20.
I believe.
isn't that 15?
15. Yeah.
So you asked me for like talking points, and I wasn't going to initially, but then I just like naturally kind of did it because I was reminding myself, so I just kind of wrote some down. So for movie, I was like, Civil War. And then I was like, oh, wait, Arrival came out that year. And then I was like, oh, wait, Rogue One came out that year. And then I was like, oh, shit. Oh, wait, that was it. Yeah. Well, for me, anyway, I was like, Arrival and Rogue One.
I didn't think Arrival was in the same league as
But
that.
it
Arrival's
wasn't
very
in
good.
my. It was a great film to watch,
Yeah.
but it wasn't in my like top ones because I couldn't pick my number
you
one
have your notes, sorry?
favorite.
No, I can.
But I did
Yeah.
narrow it down to.
I mean, Rogue One
few.
like left me like speechless, and I like snuck back into
yeah.
the theater to watch that last 40 minutes again because there was like a 9. There was an 8:30 showing and like a 9 o'clock showing. So after it finished, I just like I literally just snuck back in, and I just
watch
like
it
I just
straight
watched
away.
the
You're a
40
bad
minutes
person.
You're a
again.
terrible
People
person.
paid for their tickets, and you just think you could walk back into
I know,
the
it's
cinema.
basically piracy.
I think
isn't it?
the
Yeah.
interesting thing about Rogue One
I'm not
though
paying for the
is
film.
I think it
Support
left
Australian
you with a
films.
very good feeling, but I don't
Yeah.
think overall it's the best film of the
No,
year.
that's
Yeah,
what
no.
I agree. I've seen it again. I'm like the first like half hour. I'm like I don't really. It's like kind of muddled. and
Planet.
It's like
and
it's
then
just,
and
it's
it's
a
the only
bit.
Star Wars that has like a flash forward kind of thing, which is weird because like it's like we don't have enough screen time for Mads Mikkelsen. It's like you don't need that opening scene.
And just because we watched
kinda
Force
weird.
Awakens and it was just like ships flying around kind of thing, and it was just kind of messy. I thought like it was like oh just throw it all on screen, people love it. It's Star Wars. Whereas Rogue One, that final battle is so calculated and brilliant. Like where they all come in like together, and then it's like they're gonna take down the shield and like you're able to as an audience member. I feel you're able to kind of grasp it
Yeah.
better. It's
Yeah.
like what we talk about. I think with like. When you set up an action film, it's like you need to understand where the heroes are situated on the battlefield, and I think the Russo brothers do that really well with stuff like Winter Soldier and Captain Civil
So
War.
Yeah.
the thing about Star Wars, that Rogue One is the
You watched
the
it?
scene where Darth Vader comes in with his lightsaber, and they're like, "Get the message," and they're like, and they're like
us, yeah.
crying, and they're just getting thrown all over the place. That's when Darth Vader finally had fear. Like you realize
I
why
agree.
people
Yeah.
like
We've
were
all
scared
said
of
that,
him.
yeah.
Why
Because
they- yeah.
and that was
so true.
probably my favorite moment in any Star Wars film
Yeah.
was that soul scene where you actually realize how scary he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
in
No,
that
I
universe.
agree.
It's true.
Growing up, I was like, he doesn't seem that like.
Because
like,
in the
as a
original
kid,
prequels-
he's like he's the little bitch.
You watch that fight scene again with him and old Obi-Wan, and they're like,
yeah, it's like a stage play.
and it's slow
Yeah.
because
It's like-
they're old,
yeah.
and
George
well,
Lucas
Obi-Wan
like,
is old.
George Lucas is like, don't you dare break those fiberglass rods. They're like, oh, sorry, George, sorry. A tippy tappy tap. Like, we don't want to break them.
I'd be
You know
more
what I
worried worried about someone breaking
There's
a
a line in
leg
The
or something.
Simpsons that, like, when Mark Hamill cameos in The Simpsons, they're like, use your lightsaber. He's like, what, and break it? He's like, George Lucas makes me pay for these.
That's a great episode. Too.
That's one of my favorite
Use
Simpson
the
episodes.
forks.
What was it? Mayor to the Mob.
The forks.
Season 10.
Jeez.
That's, again, one of my favorites. So it's funny as well, because we were talking, like, Rogue One, like, the last 40 minutes, like, perfect, and then that first half hour, which is, like, a complete flip of Force Awakens, where I think that
Yeah.
first hour of Force Awakens is perfect, and then it loses me with Starkiller Base.
You see,
But
I'm
IG
someone who really enjoyed Force Awakens all the way through.
Have you told them why they're wrong, or should I?
No, I don't know. Wait, no.
What?
What do you mean?
You said they love Force Awakens.
The whole
No,
way through.
I love it. Like,
Oh,
all the way
you love
through.
it?
Yeah.
The whole way through.
You said,
Yeah, I
know
thought it was
someone.
really
Again,
good.
we're in the
I
minority.
watched
You have to
that.
understand that.
This is like Civil War all over again.
Oh my god! It's just funny because IGN apparently gave.
We can
because
still
I
be
got
friends.
most of my stuff from IGN. That's like I get a lot of my news, and they gave Rogue One movie of the year actually, which I thought was surprising.
Yeah.
So they also had Deadpool came out that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up there.
I don't like it as much as everybody else does, but I have to like it kind of trendsetted. Like I like that the impact it had because a lot of people are now taking risks. Like I feel like without Deadpool we wouldn't have got Logan.
I feel like that's exactly true.
Like I think
The
a lot of people are
R-rated.
taking risks with R-rated stuff. They're like, well, everyone likes comics is in their 30s now. We can make R-rated films.
Yeah.
Zootopia is very good.
Yeah, so I was just
It
going to
is.
say...
Zootopia's
It's a nice one.
Very, really good.
I don't know if it's a.
No, but
so-
I
top
love
10.
that film.
It is a
think
great film.
2016
No.
was...
Stop it! Can you bleep over that or something? Inappropriate.
I almost didn't catch it. I
so-
don't want to talk about it.
Hold on. So I think 2016 was a fantastic year for animation because Moana came out that year as well.
Moana's really
Did it
good.
really?
Yeah, The Jungle Book came out, which was amazing.
What did you say?
No, he's just grinning because he was gonna like Moana. He was gonna play. You're welcome.
He was gonna play that one.
That's why
I can't if I had the technology.
I
to
thought
do
you were
that.
going to say she's hot or something. I was
No,
like,
no,
leave
no.
her alone.
I was
She's
going to start
cute.
the screamo version.
And
but
I
you're
don't.
welcome.
So
don't do
also the
that.
Jungle Book came out that year, which I thought
Oh,
was
shit.
incredible.
I thought it
So
was
that's
good too.
that's
Didn't
in
realise
my
that.
little thing.
surprisingly decent.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
It's made me
Um,
excited for John Favreau's Lion King.
And I don't know if you guys have seen
I hope it's good.
this incredible film that was probably my favorite
I
film,
wanted to.
Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh,
Oh my lord.
I didn't watch
Again,
that.
what you said, I liked it.
should've.
On,
Okay,
I liked it on
so-
an animation level, but I just really didn't dig that film. I don't know. I
Really,
just couldn't
I
get
thought
into
it
it.
was just so original, and I just love that storytelling
need to
in
watch it.
And it
Yeah,
was just
I just-
such a cute story, and it was something
It was
you could
kinda
sit
freaky,
down
I
and
thought.
yeah,
Like those like
the
faceless sisters, they were
yeah.
fucking terrifying.
But it's like I don't know. I was just finally seeing something like such a really because they also did the box trolls as well. The people that did
We
the
don't have to talk about
and
that, do
they
we?
I've not
also
seen it,
did
but it's all stop motion.
Coraline as well.
Oh, yeah.
so there's that creepy vibe.
Is that,
with
would that
it.
be then? Would that be then Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Elm Street? Is it all that
I
same
don't
crew?
think so.
I
Oh,
think
mean-
they're different,
it
aren't they?
might-
Okay, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
no, I love that.
it's just
Similar
this
style, though.
fantastic original story that came to screen, and it was the same with Zootopia and Moana. They're all just
Yeah.
like original stories, and they're just so good. I
yeah.
enjoyed them so much.
What's up?
We should pause.
And we are back.
Okay.
There's two
Kubo
more.
and the Two Strings was
Kubo
wait.
and the Two Strings. That's right.
It
I
was
like-
that was my that had to be in the list because that was that was really good.
I realize that people really like that film.
I haven't
just,
seen it.
For whatever reason, I just didn't connect with the characters. But the animation's beautiful. And has anyone seen? I showed you the other night the Spider-Man animated film that's coming out next year.
Yes, I
Miles
saw
Morales
that.
in that one?
I
and was
didn't
kind
get
of
it,
a
but
bit-
I couldn't care less until I saw that
Trailer.
trailer. The animation is so friggin'
Yeah,
awesome.
that was
Yeah.
really
It looked like
interesting.
stop motion. The movement, it was like so kind of jagged,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Is
Yeah.
this stop motion?"
Like,
and I'm
is
like,
it
"No, it's
12 frames or
CGI." I'm like,
something?
"Yeah, exactly." It looks like it's like less.
But you can forgive it because it looks fucking
It
great.
looks amazing.
like
Yeah.
I was like, I never wanted to see a film so bad, like just for the animation.
I want to
like,
see what they
I
do
can't
with
remember,
the
yeah.
storyline because that just that looks like it's going to be a good film.
I believe it's Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
Yeah, it is. I checked it today.
Getting a little off track here. Two more movies that
From
you
2016?
haven't. From 2016. We got La La Land.
Shit, I forgot to write that down. La La Land.
You forgot to
La La Land.
write that down?
I'm sorry. I thought I did write it down. Sorry,
I
can you
feel
do
like
the
I'm
good-
the
good
only
notes?
person that
Jack's
does
last
not like that
podcast.
film.
Sorry, you didn't like it?
No.
Oh, what?
Because,
beautiful.
alright, so this is where it lost me, it's like, oh, this is jazz. But my boyfriend is an actual jazz musician, and that is not
Brag about
jazz.
Oh, really?
Not jazz at all. That's like pop. And it's pop music. And we were just sitting there
Really?
like, oh my god, because
Well,
we
isn't
listen
that-
to jazz.
That's what the film is about.
And-
How
isn't
do
it?
you
No,
know your
'cause when he
boyfriend's
joins-
actually jazz though?
He joins that band and
So-
he goes on tour, and that's like the pop
But
jazz.
no,
elements,
that's the
right?
thing. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna make original jazz. We want to bring jazz back, but it's not jazz. It's pop, and it just lost the whole thing.
Is there any original jazz according to your boyfriend?
I don't know. I don't.
Because I
I
thought there
think
were a
that's,
few.
that's only
The
going to annoy a
only-
very small
the only
group
really
of people.
the only thing that really that's what annoyed me a lot because I was like into it and then he mentioned it. Now I can't stop seeing it.
Bastard.
So
Duncan.
but there's
That's
the
interesting.
really good. The very start of it was amazing. The opening scene that was just
See,
amazing.
that's funny
how
because
they
so many
did that.
people.
But
You
then
mean on
after that,
on the highway?
highway.
They had
yeah,
that bit.
and it's in the dancing
Was it
and
one
stuff.
shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all done.
that
That's
was
what
pretty
really
cool.
surprised
See,
me
that's
about
so
that.
funny you say that
But-
because I talked to so many people who hated that. Like, didn't your girlfriend not like that? Because everyone was like, "Oh, is this
No,
the
no,
movie? They're like, is this a musical? Like,
That's
are they
the
dancing
yeah,
all the time?"
the fact that it was a
My
musical, not
girlfriend had
that
the
shot.
exact same reaction. She was like, "Where's Emma Stone? Like, where's Ryan Gosling?" I'm like, "Babe, it's just
Enjoy
chill
it,
for 3
yeah.
minutes and watch this like beautifully choreographed dancing."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Is this the whole movie?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then it gets into like the drama and it becomes more of a film. But
Because
right,
of
yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing, actually looking at from a musician's point of view and seeing it from that, I just could not keep watching it. But the one thing I do
See, that's
love
why
about it was
that's
the
why I liked it.
color.
the colors, yeah.
If you like watch that film and you look at a color chart, it is so beautifully contrasted,
Distributed,
and
yeah.
it's just
Even like the four main girls, they each have their own
Yeah,
color.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was just thinking that.
The
No,
color
I love it
was
when they
what
do that
made
in
that
TV shows and
film
movies.
really great for me.
Like Zoolander.
Well, what you said you didn't like, I think
models.
I loved about it. Like, it took so
Oh,
many
true.
elements from theater and stage and put it in that film. Like, the way it's like a set, and then they'll just like all the lights will dim onto like, and then there'll be one character like in a spotlight. I'm like, that was a set. Like, they would have had to rig that all set up because they just did it like live.
Yeah.
And the way they do like, it's like there's like a lot of long shots in that, even just for like a conversation. Like, there was a scene, I think it was like Ryan Gosling just walking through the house having a conversation. I was like, oh, they haven't cut. It's like, I love that because they get an act. It's like on a stage. There's no cutting. It's like you just get to deliver the line and you get to bounce
Yeah,
off.
and they have to actually remember
very
it.
Yeah, you get to like sort of
Get the
cut-
momentum behind
yeah,
it.
you
flow,
can't
yeah.
just, just like a part at a time. It's like you get to have fun with the line and bounce off like the actress and have the chemistry, and they did that a lot in that film. And
Yeah.
this on a technical level, like that film is really cool. Like cinematography, like the lighting and the set direction, the art
The
direction,
lighting
like
was something special.
it's
yeah.
so cool. Yeah, I like that film.
For me, it was like good, but nothing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was fine.
Well, that was the funny thing is I was like one of the first people to see it. I remember like I was like, that was great. And I was in that first initial wave, and then there was the people like it was like, guys, it's so amazing. And then the second wave of people see it, and they're like, well, it's not that great, you know what I mean? And that happens all the time. It's so funny with like
Yeah.
those waves of people, the way that works.
So my top is Deadpool for comedy because that I was left in tears after seeing that. I thought it
was
was
very
so funny. I am very picky when it comes to comedy, and I was really happy to actually go and see a film and like be really laughing, like
Yeah.
snorting laughing.
Because there's not enough comedies that are like R-rated. I think.
Yeah,
You know,
and-
like they're all just
There
the
was
same
some
jokes.
like just irreverent, crazy stuff.
It was
in that
so
film.
irreverent.
I think it bugged me because it was just such a formulaic story. Like it was just a revenge plot to get his girlfriend. But I think it kind of had to be because everything
Yeah.
else was so crazy. They needed some kind of hook. But
I think for me,
some kind
I
of
forgave
stability.
it immediately for that because it was told out of order. It was like a Tarantino like
it was done really
superhero
well.
film because it was
Yeah.
like started at the midpoint and then went back and it went
Yeah.
forward and back.
That was
and-
surprising. It worked, which I
thought
don't
it
think
worked
I don't
really
think,
well,
and I think
yeah.
it surprisingly worked. Yeah.
yeah.
So Deadpool, Rogue One, of course, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and that's going to be on my list. Moana, Zootopia, Kubo and the Two Strings, which I highly recommend
Jesus,
to watch.
pick one.
yeah, pick one. What are you
And
doing?
Jungle Book. So I could
My
not
favorite
pick.
movie was.
Yeah.
So that was my top 1, 2, 3, 4,
I also
5,
the
6,
last one I
6.
had. Sorry, Sean. The last one I had. The movie was. We saw it this year, but I checked IMDb, and I believe it came out last year, like technically. was Lion, which we all really liked as well.
We
And that was a
all
very powerful film.
bawled
We all
in that
cried our eyes
Yeah,
out
that
of
was
film.
another.
I don't think I need to go back
Dropping
and
film.
I don't think I need to watch that one again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was quite hard to watch.
That one more that I actually, just because it's gone unnoticed a little bit, The Nice Guys. Did you guys watch that one?
You
Now-
just said that earlier, yeah.
I finally got around to watching that like this year, and I really didn't care for it. And I like Shane Black. I love
thought the
Kiss Kiss Bang
chemistry
Bang
between
and
all the
Lethal
characters
Weapon
was
and-
amazing.
I didn't. You see, I was like, I don't know.
I quite liked it, yeah.
was
But we are definitely
thoroughly
Mara.
enjoyed it.
I liked.
Mine
So I'm
It's
picking that one
yeah.
just because there's a whole bunch of obvious ones that I
Yeah.
want to pick, like
Shane-
Deadpool and.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen like
but-
it's funny because there's like a resurgence, like all these like great child actors, or it's like the directors just know how to get a good performance out of these younger actors and actresses because.
Oh, the girl in that.
Because I think Shane Black, who directed that, did Iron Man 3, and I think some of the best parts of Iron Man 3 is the
Is the
parts with the
kid.
kid and
Yeah.
the chemistry between him and Danny Jr.
Yeah.
And again, the only thing that I remember stood out to me from The Nice Guys was his daughter.
Yeah.
I thought she was a really cool
She was great.
character,
She
and
was
she was
great.
like, "There's like prostitutes and stuff." He's like, "Baby, like sweetie, I told you don't say and stuff. Just say there's prostitutes in here, or whatever that line is." Like, I thought she was really good.
She
Yeah,
is.
she was a
her
pretty major
performance.
character, yeah.
She like uncovered. I haven't seen it in a long
went
time.
into
There was
the
like one of
party,
the
yeah.
major plot scenes where she like did the whole thing.
Hanging out on the inside, yeah.
Should we quickly move on to TV shows, or was there anything else you guys wanted to say?
I think my favorite movie from 2016 is probably Civil War. I'm just going to be the most basic person here because I thought
Captain
it was
America fanboy.
I just thought it was the best.
Yeah,
It was really good.
I think because when I think
mean,
of it, yeah, like Rogue One, it's like I like the ending, but like as a film, it's like the whole
It's
thing.
like okay.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Whereas like
I
can
can't
watch
remember a
all
single
the-
character's name from that because it's just like I mean it's fine. It's
I rebel, yeah. Which I don't think that line was even in the film in the end. There was so much. There's like
that trailer, yeah.
there's like half the trailer is didn't even make it to the
Yeah.
film. Like, all right. So TV shows, I had to think about it because I was like, I don't know, I just was blank. So Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Are
that
we
was
Yeah.
probably...
talking shows that started in 2016 or that were just in 2016?
You could talk about the season that was in 2016.
Okay.
Because BoJack season 3, I think, was last year.
Oh,
Good
Which
season.
is
that was
very,
a
really good. I think that was the
season.
season with the underwater episodes
Yeah,
and stuff
that
like
was
that.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones season 6 had the Hodor episode, and that was fucking
Oh.
amazing. I don't think you're caught up, so we'll not talk about it.
Yeah, I know about that. You can't avoid
Oh,
that.
true. Westworld. Did anyone watch Westworld? Westworld was fucking
No,
awesome.
I didn't.
I only watched a couple of
That's not
episodes, and I
strange so
need to, and I missed a small bit of it, and I haven't gone back to it
It's
yet.
just
But
so
I will
well
because it's
produced.
awesome. It
It's
is
like
a
Game of Thrones or
great
Breaking Bad.
production.
Like, it's just like the production value. You're like, oh my god, like this
And the number of
Western with
huge
robots.
actors that are in it, and
Yeah.
the music. They do this. The guy
Oh,
who
the
does the
intro
music
is so
for
good.
the guy who does the music for Ramin Djawadi, who does the music for Game of Thrones,
And the Iron Man
does
soundtrack.
yeah, I think he does actually.
Yep.
He does this song, or I think he does a few of them in Westworld.
Yeah.
But there's one where he does like a westernized version of Paint,
Paint
It
It
Black.
Black, yes.
I listen to that all the time.
You don't
It's
even
the
realize it's
Western-
painted black, and you're like, wait a minute. You're like, is this painted black? You're like, oh man, it's like this like old timey kind of, but it's like
And it's like the climax of episode 1 as well, and everything's happening, and there's like a shootout thing, and there's
Yeah.
like it's the one of the
between
best
like
scenes of
robots.
TV.
Love to get a hold of
Westworld's a
that.
cool show.
Oh,
We need to watch
Westworld's
it again.
cool, yeah.
Daredevil season 2. I know you guys don't like it as much as season 1. I freaking
Yeah.
love season 2. I love Elektra.
It's still really
I
good,
love
yeah.
I love like the Punisher in that. I
The
mean,
Yeah.
fucking
I
punch.
love that, and like it's so
Yeah.
because he's like Red. He's like, you hit him down, they get back up. I hit him down, they stay down.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, they get justice. I send them to jail, and then the Punisher goes to jail, and who's fucking running the jail? Fucking Kingpin is
yeah.
running. He's like, he's like, you just changed the scenery, Daredevil. Like you just put me in prison. I run the fucking prison, and it's like there's just so much corruption. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps.
It's
good
pretty
season.
cool. It's pretty cool.
Did anyone watch Atlanta?
No.
Donald
I
Glover's
didn't.
like show. Apparently
Oh.
amazing. I never.
Where they're like eating
I've been
an
meaning to
apple or
watch it.
something
Yeah, that's
on
the
there.
poster. Yeah, I never got around
I've
to
not
it.
actually. Haven't seen anything from it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check that out like all year. So best for me, it might be Game of Thrones to be honest.
I don't think I can get past
For
Stranger
mine,
Things.
it's probably
Stranger Things is really
BoJack
good too.
because
Stranger
season
Things-
3, when season
Yeah.
3 came out, that's actually when I started watching
Yeah.
BoJack because everyone started really appreciating it. Was when season 3 came out.
Because it's hard to
And-
appreciate it at first because you think it's a comedy. And but then there's like an episode that
It
makes you
fucks
like
you up.
sob.
It
And then there's
changed-
another
it-
episode that like sends you into therapy.
I read an article. It changed the way people review shows or something like that because
Yeah,
apparently
right.
like this like some reviewers they watched like the first 3 they were like it's like a 6 and then it was like well watch the whole season and then they did they're like holy shit this show's a 9 like
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
thing because it was like the first episodes it's like they're finding their feet and it's like it's a bit lighter and then it sort of there's like this arc, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it changed the way I view animated shows, and then by the end of the season, it changed the way I view TV. I was like, whoa, it just blew my mind.
Did Rick and Morty come out last year or was that this year?
That was this year. It was season 3.
Okay.
Because they sort of take a year break. Yeah. So season 16 was pretty good. 2017 has been like, I mean, 2016 everyone says is like the dumpster fire year. Like, I don't think 2017 has been that much better, or like arguably worse in some ways.
I think TV shows at the moment are far better than movies.
I think
by
movies this
far.
year have been tremendous too, and games have been phenomenal. This
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not a Nintendo person, but like everyone got the Zelda and they got their Mario and Horizon. And, like, it's like there's a new game. There's like a game of the year every like month. It's insane. Like
I think
there's so much
2017's
stuff.
been better than
For
2016.
media, definitely.
Yeah, I
like for
think
just the movies and TV shows, there's just so much stuff. There's too much stuff, and it's
There
all,
actually
it's
is
all
too
so
much
good.
stuff.
Like I said before,
It's
it was like
impossible to keep on
it's like,
top of it.
Like there's so much stuff. It's like you don't have time for stuff that's like 6s and 7s. You
That-
can only
that's
watch
exactly
like
right.
you can only watch like 9s and 10s, and
I was
like
just gonna say that.
you might fit like some time for maybe like an 8. But now I feel like everything's a 9 now. It's like
4
I don't
years
even-
ago, I was on top of all these shows. I was with the DC shows and the Marvel shows, everything else. And now I'm like, I barely watch TV because there's no time. There's like 4 shows that
that's
I have to watch, and then there's like there's.
Somehow 2015 I watched like 9 Seasons of How You Met Your Mother, and I was
only
on
gonna
top of
get
Arrow,
worse,
Flash,
man.
and
I know.
all
Yeah.
that
It's
stuff.
just going to
and
pile
I'm like,
up and pile up
I
and
don't have
pile
time
up.
for that stuff.
You're just going to have to quit your job and be a full-time
Well,
TV
I
watcher.
that's why I took a year off TV this year. Like I didn't really watch that much stuff. I still ended up
watched, like,
watching.
2
I
shows
still ended
this
up
whole
watching
year.
probably about like 10 shows.
Wow.
Like,
Maybe 3 or 4. I mean,
I
I'm
think this has
exaggerating.
been my
but
most intense year of watching shows. I've watched fuck tons.
I haven't watched a
I
thing.
watched because I watched Rick and Morty. I watched Game of Thrones. I watched Stranger Things. I watched Dirk Gently, Big Mouth.
I watched all of the Marvel stuff except for Jessica Jones this year.
I don't
Have
think
you
I've
seen
watched any Marvel
Jessica
stuff this
Jones?
year.
Oh, Master of
Sorry?
None.
I don't think I've watched any Marvel stuff this year.
Really?
I haven't finished Luke Cage, Iron Fist,
I'm
Defenders,
kind of
or
Luke Cage and
Daredevil.
Iron Fist. I did.
Or,
that was in the
Punisher.
background. That was in the
It's
background.
exhausting. You can't. Do
I was doing other shit. I was playing video games or whatever.
I don't know, just it is exhausting.
I can.
13 Reasons Why.
Sorry.
I can't remember what year that came out in.
It was this year.
It was this year?
It was this year. Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it at the start of the year, I remember. And I watched the first. I keep meaning to go back and watch it because like there's some good
you're
elements
right.
there, but it's just again the time. Like I'd rather watch.
I've read the
Other
books. I'm
stuff.
happy with that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna vote. What are we saying? TV?
No, I can't really decide.
Stranger-
I think.
Stranger
I
Things.
just kind of want.
You can't.
Oh my god. Okay.
Stranger
Movie,
For me, it's BoJack.
movie,
That's a
Civil.
good call.
Yeah. All right. Movie, Civil War, game, Overwatch, and TV show. Fuck. It's between
Say
Game of Thrones
Stranger
and
Things because then I don't have to say it. I'll just go same.
Stranger Things.
I'll say Game of Thrones.
All right. Well, mine is Civil War, Overwatch, and Stranger Things.
Yes.
I don't want to have the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's move on. Sean, what's your topic?
I just need to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
actually,
well,
I'm-
do you want to maybe when I pause those cameras because I feel like they're gonna explode maybe.
All right. So
$1,000
now we're going to
head.
Sean's topic
Yeah.
for this afternoon.
So are we on the thing?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
back now.
We are back.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Let's quickly
We
wrap.
didn't
Let's wrap
leave.
up, Sean.
That's right. We didn't leave. Yeah.
We didn't
okay.
expel close to 4 liters of bodily fluids.
Wow. All right. Anyway, so last topic. Amazon have announced the Lord of the Rings TV show. I just want to know what you guys think of that. Do you have any
Didn't even know about
preference
it.
of who's going to be in it, what storyline they'll cover?
You've seen Lord of the Rings.
I want all the original people.
I know you're like you're from Middle Earth aren't you, as well.
Yeah, well, no. All right, so I
Middle
don't
Zealand.
know. I was a bit like, yeah, it has the potential to be good, but it has the potential to be so shit
Yeah,
at the same
it really
time.
does.
And I don't know how I feel about Amazon doing.
Have they
shows.
discussed
That's
anything?
the
more?
thing.
What-
that's,
what-
that's the thing that kind of got me. Is
They have, like,
why
Amazon Prime is
How
like
did
a network,
Amazon
isn't
get
it?
the rights to it? Isn't it Warner Brothers?
What? Who
Lord of
did
the
who?
Rings?
I'm pretty sure it's Amazon who's
No,
doing
it's
it.
Amazon that are doing
Yeah, but
it, and
Amazon
that's
doesn't
why
own
I was
anything.
kind of
That's what I mean. How
why.
did they get the rights?
What?
No, but
they
they're a
just like,
massive
like-
company.
yeah, but like
Huge. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought it.
They probably just
believe-
bought
oh
it.
really?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't.
I'm trying
buy
to think of the logos that come up before Lord of the Rings. It's like Wingnut and and that New Line Cinema.
Yeah,
it's the
but
rights.
they...
so-
Christopher
I wish I
Tolkien, I
could
think,
check.
owns the rights.
What
I think it's...
have Amazon done in the past?
I can't...
They've done
name anything.
the BBC's Top Gear like
I'll look it up.
documentary thing. No, I don't know what it was, but apparently it fell on its face. Amazon Prime tried releasing in, I want to say Australia. How long ago did they release it all?
Like last week, it's Amazon Australia.
Yeah.
Except apparently it sucks.
And that's Amazon, but there's Amazon Prime, which you could have signed up for.
I don't
But
think that's
one
available.
of their like flagships was Top Gear, like another Top Gear show of sorts. It was with all the same people. I'm pretty sure it was called Top Gear, but it was different.
I feel like everyone's
It
trying to
just fell over.
become what Netflix is, like that streaming service, I think.
Yeah. Well, everything's trying to be a
Okay,
service.
so the whole Lord of the Rings thing, I will have high expectations for it because Lord of the Rings films are fantastic. They're just such great stories, regardless if
It's a great world.
like, and
I mean,
it is. It's the languages
it's like the pinnacle
and stuff,
of
and it's
fantasy.
just
Well, it's
so-
like defined fantasy in a way, because like before that there was never that high fantasy, or not in the same way, not to the general public, I guess. But the elf, the wizard, the dwarf, the human warrior, it's redefined the whole thing, and now nothing has escaped it. It's impossible to do fantasy without being compared.
Yeah. Well, I will have high expectations because Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were a fantastic thing. Like,
Even though
films.
you know that the TV show is not going to like make it to the same level
Yeah.
as
I'd
the
love
movie.
it if it did, though. You know,
I mean, you want them to try, but
I don't think
Yeah.
they'll be able to match the budget and the sets and stuff. But if
That,
they
I was just going to bring up that
if they
point.
focused on a small story,
and if it's
or-
not filmed
story.
in New Zealand, I'm going to be thinking, what the fuck are they doing? You know?
It's so funny because J.R. Tolkien supposedly based a lot of the scenery on parts of like Britain, and if you travel up through the UK, if you go through like the Slate
very
Hills
English.
of Wales, you're just like they could have easily filmed little things here. Like it's very lush and very beautiful, and it has that kind of like old timey feel because there's castles and shit everywhere. But no, New Zealand's
whole
also
book is-
gorgeous.
yeah.
I've never been, but I would love to. Yeah, what you said.
So do you think they'll keep going with which storyline early in the past or in the future?
I
one of the
don't
older, other
know
books,
much of the
or-
extended stuff.
they've got a pretty big world to play around with.
Yeah.
Like, could they just do a whole bunch of little stories as opposed to following one kind of like
That
adventure?
would be interesting if they
That-
did
like an
little
anthology
stories.
Because
series.
they
kind
could
of.
go with like wide as opposed to like deep.
Yeah. I see what you
They
mean.
and
could
that
do
way
both,
people
and
go, oh,
I-
this story was great. Oh, this story was great. Like they've got a lot more opportunities to.
I don't think
like,
they would
resonate
do
with
that.
people.
Do you
Saying
think-
But
that,
that would be that's a great idea.
think they'd do
I'd
that?
never
Okay.
thought of that. I just don't think they will.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll do it. They'll set it like 1,000 years in the past or something, you know, or 100 years, like separate from all the Middle East or the Lord of the Rings
So
stuff.
there is a book
or if
called
they'll do
The
the Rogue
Silmarillion.
One thing and they'll have like the side characters or something. What's that, Aragorn? Nah, don't be stupid. I don't know. God, I hope it's not like that.
Like off screen.
Yeah.
Gimli was just over there. You
Yeah.
missed him. Sorry. No, there's another book called The Silmarillion, which covers a lot of the
Yeah,
myths and
yeah,
legends
yeah.
and
Which-
histories.
I thought the Tolkien estate was like, no one's touching this because they weren't happy with
Is
the
Christopher
Hobbits and
Tolkien
stuff.
still alive? I feel like once he dies, the Lord of the Rings universe is going to be pretty much up for grabs.
Disney will buy it.
Disney probably will buy it.
Wait, is he dead?
I don't think he's dead yet.
And they'll have the Lord of the Rings.
I
cinematic
find it
universe.
really cool about Tolkien and the guy who wrote Narnia.
C.S.
Were,
Lewis.
yeah, were college roommates.
They were bros, yeah.
That's
awesome.
And I thought that's
really
a
cool.
really cool fact that they're both just like
They used to have all these
incredible
really
worlds.
huge
Absolutely
discussions
incredible
about like elements of literature and religion and stuff.
Narnia
and
is pretty cool.
Narnia's
worlds.
great.
Oh, Narnia's amazing.
Yeah.
It's much more theological than
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
But it's-
He
what's
was
the word?
taking more drugs.
theological,
What-
like religious. You know.
Oh,
The-
yeah, like the rebirth of like the lion and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the whole
Yeah.
thing is basically an allegory, whereas Lord of the Rings has elements of it, I guess.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like I don't know. My brain's turned to mush. I like that's like another topic. It's like sort of deciphering like how those shows differ because I feel like Lord of the Rings is more beloved, but I think there's a lot to love with Narnia. Like, and maybe Narnia
Yeah.
is more for kids.
I feel like it is. I feel like that's
Yeah.
an okay thing to
It's
say.
like safer. No, I wasn't meaning it to
Yeah.
sound as like a bad thing.
No,
I
no,
just-
I know what you
It's
mean.
more. I'm just trying to separate them in my mind of like why do I prefer Lord of the Rings than Narnia?
Yeah.
And I think
They're
like, people,
both pretty equal because they were both childhood movies for me.
Well, same with The Hobbit. I mean, The Hobbit was a kid's book, whereas The Lord of the Rings were more mature.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, that annoyed them about the Hobbit films because they were a bit more lighthearted and kind of goofy in some areas. I didn't mind it because I was
No, I
like, that
didn't
to me
mind
that
it
was the
at
book,
all.
and I was like, it's like fun. It's a bit more fun, and like, and also heavily influenced by Guillermo
Guillermo del
I
Toro.
can't say his name.
Guillermo del
Toro.
Yeah.
Like on the, especially a lot of the creature designs, like the goblins and the wargs. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is something out of Hellboy
Yeah.
2 when they go into like that market scene sort of
Yeah.
thing.
He's
I love
so
the first
cool.
Hobbit. I really do. I think that film's perfect. and then I think they get sort of progressively worse.
We've
Yeah, but
discussed
I'm
them
someone
before
who
as well, yeah.
kind of really enjoyed all three.
Yeah.
But that's because I just love that whole world
Yeah.
and I love where it went and stuff. And I knew it was gonna, the first one always delivers fantastically, but
Yeah.
especially in recent times, it's always the second and the third tend to be quite not as good as the first. But it was still good. So I'm interested to see what the TV shows. I'll definitely
I'm
give it a
interested.
crack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will
of
watch
course.
it, but I feel like it's not going to be as. It's not going to reach my.
It's very
expectations.
difficult to
It's-
be
it's-
excited because I think everyone has the same thoughts.
Yeah.
You know,
I
there
feel
won't be
like
the
they
budget,
should've-
there won't be the characters,
Yeah.
there won't be the actors, there won't be the settings.
See, I don't
I-
care if it's not the actors and stuff. Just so
Yeah.
long as the story's good.
But they might not have the good enough actors anyway,
Yeah.
even if it's not the same.
If it's something like a soap opera, you know how the whole Flash and Arrow go down,
Yeah.
that kind of.
If the
I
CW
got so-
network was
That's
doing
when
it,
I will flip the
I want to see
table
little
like,
things
nah.
so bad. It's just all drama. No, I hate that.
melodrama.
I hate how I mean, that was one of the reasons, like, I was like, I know with The Hobbit, they sort of sandwiched in that, like, love triangle with Toriel and the dwarf, and, like, this was like, this is, like, it's like, they brought in this, like, tough female girl, because they were like, there's not enough women in The Hobbit. You're like, well,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
true.
Which
Which
I
is
was like, yeah, there's like fucking 12 dwarves and a hobbit and a wizard, and they're all dudes. So it's like, yeah, let's have a chick in there, and they're like, love story immediately. It's like, did you have to do
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? Like, the girl doesn't have to be a. Anyway, that's.
There was a lot
that's
of things that
another
The Hobbit could have done, and yeah,
yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I feel like they should have waited a little bit. Like, I feel like we're still on the tail end of The Hobbit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they should have waited a couple of years till people kind of like.
That's probably,
Lord of the
probably
Rings sort
riding
of
that
dies
wave
down.
back.
well, they
and
probably
then-
had the opposite
and then
thought.
we
They
get-
were like, oh, well, there's still a bit of hype.
Yeah.
That's true. They want to build on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
Like,
posters
yeah.
are on point tonight, guys. We've talked about all of them except for Lego.
Yeah.
How
By the
good-
way,
how
it's a
good was the Lego
fantastic
movie?
film.
We did talk about Lord and Miller actually,
Oh,
so that's
that's
okay.
true.
What a
That Lego
segue.
movie.
How
How about that movie?
How good was that film?
There's a funny thing that I sometimes do. Like, if I watch something like, say it's like I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a fantasy show, like Merlin or something like that. Not that I've ever seen that show, but it's like, I don't buy into it if like the production value's not that great sometimes.
It's
Like, I'm
hard
just
to.
like, I'm like, that's clearly just people. I'm like, that's just actors dressed in
Yes.
like pantomime, like like hitting each other with plastic swords. But when it's Lord of the Rings, I'm like, that's fucking Aragorn, and he's carrying Flame of the West, like Andril, and he will cut down Sauron and save Middle Earth of the hobbits and everybody. And I'm
And
like, I'm
it's
just in
important,
that world.
obviously.
I'm in
Game
that
of
world.
Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones too.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I think you just need that production value for that immersion. Maybe I'm a bit of a snob, yes, but
No,
like,
I think that's very true
know what?
because it's
I
a world
see
that's
that
too
opinion.
different from ours to get away with it.
yeah, it's like so.
You can't take
Hopefully,
it
they do get a
seriously
production
if
value that's big enough.
If it makes sense, or if you can kind of connect it to
Yeah.
this type of world. But yeah, no, I agree on that. But I know that they won't, so I'm lowering my expectations in that area.
It's
But-
impossible
I'm
to be
just-
excited. I think I want to watch it,
You
but
look defeated at the
the
end.
more we talk about it, the
Going back
more
to
I'm
what
just
we're saying,
like,
there's too many shows. Like they were like Lord of the Rings TV show. I'm like, oh great, that's another show I have
Yeah.
to watch.
You don't have to watch that one.
Yes, I do.
I'm giving you,
Yes,
I'm giving
do.
you permission to not watch that one. You know it's gonna.
I have to
you know
check
it's-
it out.
it's
Well,
gonna be-
we'll wait and just like
I
put it
finish
to
Big
watch.
Mouth and then go on to Lord of the Rings.
God.
I honestly don't know what I'm going to finish like in time because that's the thing. So we'll wrap this up.
You
I think,
never
'cause this
get-
is this is like breaking the record of the longest podcast we've ever done by far.
That's ever been
This
done.
is just a catch up.
Yours already was the longest, and now you come on
Yeah.
again, and we
Sorry,
just chat
guys.
away. No, it's fantastic. I wanted this. I didn't want us to be like, oh, Jack, the time code. Like, who cares? Let's just keep. But you know what? Let's go another hour.
No one watches it anyway.
You're the one that has to edit it, mate.
It's true. God, I'm just making. The more I talk, the more work I make for myself. Jack, I'm sorry. Yeah. What was I going to say? Because all right. So next week, or whenever we do the next one, it'll be nominations, and then we're going to take December and January off, just to kind of refresh, but also I think to give us some time to see some of these films and TV shows that we missed and games to play and things like that, so we can come back next year and be like, yeah,
Homework.
this is what I think. Don't
Yes.
think of it like that. Don't think of it like that. Don't think, I know these last 4 months have gone so fast. Like since working like 6 days a week and with the play and the gym,
Yeah.
all and going to sleep. Like it's just like
Yeah.
And you still had
I
time
wrote-
to watch Big Mouth. Ugh.
it was my day off. I just binged it. It's a 20-minute show. I don't know. I think I was like
One
sick.
night.
I think I was sick
That
or
was
something.
fine.
And I
Yeah,
just,
if
like,
I was
had it
sick,
on.
maybe I could watch
And
it.
it was like, all right, we'll infect Sean with some virus. So
I'll
It's
call
like-
in sick. I'm like, I'm
yeah.
sorry guys, I can't come into work today. My friends gave me the flu, and now I'm watching Big Mouth.
they were like
You must be sick. You're like,
Well, you don't need a doctor's certificate, all right? Just show us your Netflix code.
it's just crazy because in September I wrote down sort of some notes. I was like, do all this stuff in the last 4 months of the year. It's now December, and I'm like, I feel like I blinked in October, and I'm like, now I'm in December, and I've barely touched any of those notes.
happens
Damn.
every year.
Yeah, it
It's,
does.
I'm like, that's
It
so
really
sad.
does.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
You get to this bottom end, you're like, oh, it's nearly Christmas. I'll just start everything in January.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never do.
And because you get to July,
Well, that's why I'm-
it's like there's still half the year left.
Well, that's why I'm
Give me an
happy.
excuse.
I'm happy I joined a gym in November because it feels like I got a head start on 2018 now. Because I'm gonna be there, doing
After
my thing.
being, like, 4 years behind.
It's like it's dead, but come January,
Yeah.
well, not first. 'cause
Everyone's gonna be like, yeah.
Everyone's hungover on January 1st, but January
January
2nd, it's like new year, new me, and so like there'll be this huge influx of people at the gym being like, yeah, I'm gonna be a new person. They'll last a week, they'll die off.
Yeah.
But I've been there since November, so I'm like, I've already got
been
like
for
that head
3
start.
months.
Yeah.
You guys merely adopted the gym. I was born in it.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a cup this time. Yeah. I was like, you're not taking my gains away from me. Yeah. All right, guys.
that's
We need to let's
Yeah,
wrap
we're
this up.
delirious, guys.
I want to thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
this epically long
Thank
you.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings scale podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Always. A
We'll
pleasure
cut it
to
up
see you.
into the 3 parts. Yeah.
I
like
want to
the
see
Hobbit.
it in 10 parts. I want you
I
to...
feel like 10 parts. is good.
Quantity.
Yeah.
14-minute segments.
Season
It'll,
12.
you have... Yeah, fuck, man.
All right. Guys, thank you so much.
All right.
And thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Thanks
awesome.
for
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
I think
See you guys
I think
next
it is
year.
on iTunes. Like I think soft release. It's on iTunes. We're just not going to tell
Very
anybody.
soft release.
All right. That's been the Giant Boo Podcast episode 12. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
See ya.